Boop. Hey. Okay, it's just Minecraft music. We're chilling then. We are chilling. Hello everybody, how's it going? It's good to see you all. Hope you're doing well. Give me just a second while I get some links posted here. And we will get right into things. I did not get to stream very much last week, and it was awful. I don't know what I was gonna do with myself if I had gone much longer without streaming. So I'm glad to say I'm back again. I didn't really leave, but I was busy and very tired. So we're here. Hello, hi, how's it going, everybody? This is where we left off the last time we built, which was like, was it Monday of last week? It may have been like a full week ago. I don't know. It's been a while though. But we're here. We're chilling. We're going to be working more on this island right here, which is my InfDev island. So here we've got like a very, very, very minimal version of what the Farlands would look like. However, we're gonna have to like stretch it all by a long shot. The problem is, like, I just don't have the tools available to me right now. By the time this video is actually ready to be recorded and stuff, this is all going to become a video eventually. Then we'll actually be able to put together this properly, because I'll have access to some tools like World Edit or Axiom to extrude everything out the way it needs to look. So far, that's just kind of what we're leaving the Farlands to look like. However, we still have like a lot of terrain here that's all very, very flat. So we're going to kind of tweak that a little bit to make it look a little better. And then, of course, we also still need to do the underside of the island, which I may also just hold off on since it's a larger area. All that said, we still got to fill in all this, and we got to also showcase what features were added. So let me go ahead and pull up that version, which would have been, like I said, InfDev. Where would be... Yes, probably there, right? Yeah. Okay. And I'm just gonna drag and drop that over there. Boop. How's Mr. Sparkle today? Mr. Sparkle am I Mr. Sparkle? Am I Mr. Sparkle? Hello everybody, welcome on and hope you're doing well. Admiral, congrats on coming first, and thank you for spending your taxes. Hello, Nafan, good to see you as well. So do thank you for spending your taxes. It's mine to steal. You stole it from me last stream too. Yeah, after your job the other day. Fair enough. Okay. Yeah, I'll talk about how the other day went, because it was interesting. So sorry, I'm going to make you see something you can never unsee with your shirt. You had all this time before I released it to tell me that there was something wrong with it. I'm gonna be very disappointed, aren't I? How bad is it? How bad is it? Okay, that's not too bad. That's not too bad. I'll take it. I'll take that. That's fine. That's not that bad. Actually, I should make one of those. I guess I should go ahead and mention, guys, there is new merch if you guys want it. It's the King's Peak collection. I wasn't gonna do this, but because Swifty mentioned I am wearing it, yes, it's new. It's out. You guys can get it if you want it. If you don't want it, don't buy it. 15 USD, not including shipping. That's still on you guys. Hello, Amir. Welcome on in. Hope you're doing well. Good to see you. And hello, Jam. Hello. Both of you, welcome on in. Yes. So, let me go ahead and put down all the new blocks and such in a chest over here just to showcase those. And while I'm doing that, I'll go ahead and talk about what I got up to over the weekend. So last time I streamed was on Thursday. I was playing on Twitch SMP. And it was a lot of fun. You know, it's Twitch SMP. You can't go wrong with that. Funny thing about that. I had to skip Friday's stream. And I didn't really know if I was going to skip it or not before that happened. I just knew there was like a very good chance I probably was going to. And the reason why was because I had to go, and I didn't have to, but I wanted to go and help clean somebody else's house. Um, they had like a sort of ordeal going on, and basically the only way they were going to be able to have their kids live with them and have them there legally was if they cleaned up the house a lot more. Now this guy didn't trash it, but he got it back to himself in a very bad condition, and he didn't know who else to ask, so he asked my church, and we went out to his house and cleaned it up. And we got so much stuff. I think the grand total of garbage and junk that we got out of there was, I think, 1,200 pounds, if I'm not mistaken. It may have been even more than that. I had to go to the landfill and actually throw out the trash too. Like it was a long process there. So it took a lot of time and effort, but we got so much trash out of the way for him so that he could actually kind of sit there and breathe and figure out what else he needs to do. And so hopefully, you know, he can live with his kids again, which would be good. Was not a fun job by any means. I'm very tired after all that. And then of course, you know, Saturday I had to leave town, had to go do a small thing, woke up butt crack of dawn, and that was fun. Very tired. I had to pick up a snake. That was cool. And then Sunday was Sunday, and now I'm here. All those days, I was actually ready to release that video that came out today about the new shirt and the World Download for King SMP Season 1. And I just forgot to release it, because I had to manually do it, because I had to manually set the release of the shirt. And then I had to wait for YouTube to update so that I could post the video with all the product links. It's a whole mess, but we're all good there now. Also, these are all the items that were added in InfDev. Now, there were a couple of new features added as well, which were giant brick pyramids, which are very, very, very short-lived. They were just made out of brick. Let me see if I can find a picture of one so that I can see one. Okay. Minecraft brick pyramid. Oh. It's a really big pyramid for no reason. Made out of bricks, yes. Okay. Let's see. I'm from Hyderabad. Where are you from? I'm from the United States. I have no clue where that is, honestly, Nody. But, that's cool. We've got people from all over the world watching, so it's always interesting to see where y'all are from. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. 1, 2. Okay. This should be simple enough. We can do that. I think is Pakistan or India. Maybe? Your guess is as good as mine, Nafan. Probably better than that, even. I don't have a guess, so I will take whatever you say as probably the truth. 1.8.8. I play right now. I'm building in the newest version of the game, so I am on Snapshot 25W37A. This is a snapshot with the Copper Age features. However, I'm building the update that is InfDev. So this was before even the versions were named 1 point something. This was back when Notch was still working on the game even. So I'm just kind of building each and every update as we go and trying to see all these changes throughout Minecraft and all the years that they came out and such. It's a really fun process. I do enjoy this, and I do want to keep doing it for as long as we can anyway. My hope is to get all the updates built at some point soon. However, it is, like I said, it is quite the process. These do take a long time to do, especially with the larger scale builds like this one. I probably went a little needlessly too large, but I really wanted to include the, I messed up. I really wanted to include, let's do that, and then I can fix it. Okay. I really wanted to include the Farlands in this update because they were introduced in InfDev. And it was something that was kind of like a major feature that I remember from my childhood anyway. So I don't know. It was just something that I thought would be cool to add into this island. So it's needlessly large, but I felt like it was still something cool. Hello, JJ Brown. I do remember you. How are you doing, dude? Welcome on in. And Fahad, hello. Welcome. Hope you're doing well. These are good yapping streams. They sure are. I love these streams for the fact that I can just talk to you guys about pretty much whatever. May I suggest a game for us to play during the next major election or maybe even primaries? Sure. I would love to hear about it. I can't promise anything, just due to the fact that, well, you know, my current goal is to just play Minecraft for the foreseeable future on streams, but there may be other opportunities. We'll see. Let's see. I just want to make sure I'm all caught up here. The base of the pyramid does not normally generate terrain except water and air. Okay. If they have also Farlands. Infinite map generation, 3D clouds, more craftable items, fast and fancy graphics, much more complex cave systems, dynamic fluid system, signs, ladders, doors, minecart rails, monster rooms. Okay, we need to add that. Siamir, welcome, or thanks for popping in, appreciate it. The Political Machine 2024, it's a game where you run for president, like how in I Am Your President, but more complicated and strategy based. Okay, I see. Yeah, I'll see what we could do. Maybe we can make that happen. That could be cool. I can't promise it necessarily, but I do think it would be interesting. So we'll have to see. Okay. So build these little monster rooms. I'm just trying to figure out where would be a good spot for it even. Maybe right here. Just put it into the side of the wall maybe. Like you imagine maybe with me right here. Do that. Have it inset into the ground a little bit. So it's one, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Because basically it sits right in the middle, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, that can't be right. It's 2 from every side, so it's gotta be 5. Yeah, hang on. There should be like so. I don't know. I'm kind of just making this up as we go, to be entirely honest with you guys. And I'm pretty sure none of the walls actually have cobblestone on them. So that's like a thing. Pretty sure only the floor does. Alright, pop, pop, pop. It's in India. I just looked it up. Sweet. Thank you. Thank you so much. Would have haunted me in the morning or at night if, I guess in the morning would work too, because that's when I consider my nights. But it would have haunted me forever if I didn't know. Okay, and then like that, I guess. It at least gets the idea across. I don't think that's built correctly, but it's there, and that's all that kind of matters, I guess. Maybe. Okay, what else? Golden apples, wood and cobblestone stairs, and saddles. Okay. InfDev was given its name as a play on words from InDev, which stood for in development. The inf stands for infinite or in further. InfDev is silent, since InfDev resources have been removed from Minecraft.net/resources unless the user uses proxy for the resources, but this does not happen to InDev. Breaking a block when directly on top of it. Breaking a block when directly on top of it would not show the breaking animation. The player would start with 990 wood planks and 999 glass blocks. Okay. So for the most part, now it's just about kind of putting terrain generation in. So better caves than last time, which we don't actually have any caves in that area, but we will here. And then just some hills and maybe a pond. Although I don't know if ponds were added in this version. I don't see them. I don't know. And then, of course, we need to put some trees around. Maybe some roses or dandelions. I think I saw some dandelions in one of them. Alright. Simple enough. Go with dirt. Just start with that. And, well, start with grass, and then we'll do the next layer of dirt. That way I can kind of figure it out. Okay. So, like... have that all come in by a few blocks. I will say, to anybody who's been like, oh, hey, King, when is your 12-hour stream coming out? I do have it in the works. It is planned. I just got to make sure that that day doesn't coincide with anything else so I can do the stream. But I do have it fully planned, basically. I don't know how it's going to work out. 12-hour stream is tomorrow. Tomorrow would be like a death sentence for me. But I really don't want to do it tomorrow. But it will be happening probably this weekend, in all honesty. Please pick any other day than September 27th. September 27th is Minecraft Live, so I'm definitely not doing it then. I wanted to do a separate stream for that, and I also have to do plenty of videos for it, so I cannot do it September 27th. My plan is to hopefully do it this weekend. I don't know exactly how it's gonna do. You know, in the past, we've done like streams and it took me no effort at all to get through and do it. Like last 12-hour stream back in December, we got through it all. And I actually did an extra 30 minutes with you guys just because. So, you know, I'm hoping it's another case like that where I just have so much that I want to do or can do that it's not a big deal if I reach the end of it. I'm like, you know, I don't want to be like exhausted by the end of it and not be entertaining. I want it to feel good to watch and to stream as well, you know. So my hope right now is that I can get it to be something exciting. Whether or not it does become exciting, that's a whole other issue that we'll figure out later. Will it start earlier than the normal streams? Yes, it will. It'll probably start at like 10 a.m. my time and then run until 10 p.m. So, whatever that is for everybody else. I'm not sure what that would be for most people. But that's like the most convenient time, more than likely, if it works out. Like I said, that's the plan. It's not necessarily a promise yet, but that is the plan. My parents are out of town, so I don't have to be judged by them for being at my computer all day. Not that they would ever judge me for that, but it means I can be noisy all day without being a problem. Guitar? Yes. I could play some guitar, and that is on the docket. I will say I've currently got like an hour and a half, I think, allotted to it, just to try to keep me on schedule, but I'm willing to run that longer because that'll put us at the halfway point of the guitar will, and I'm not picky. I'll play and do whatever for as long as I can there. 12-hour stream then house party. Yeah, exactly. My competition day. Okay, I gotcha. You're all good, Swifty. Yeah, you should be able to make it. You should be able to make it. Okay, there's a couple of things that need to happen here, and I don't know. I'm thinking maybe right about here. Kind of do like a sort of hill thing. It's right there. I can just fill all that in. That'll kind of add some more shape to it. My main concern is this is looking very flat right now. And part of that's just because it was flat at the beginning. And to fill it all in is kind of finicky sometimes. But yeah, there will be guitar. There will be speed runs. We'll be building a little bit at the beginning of it. So we'll be doing some of this. I'm hoping to play some mini games as well. That just depends on how many people are interested in playing alongside me. But I will probably play for a while there. I don't know what to do without King SMP. I do have Twitch SMP as a possibility, but I don't know if we'll play it very much. As much as I do enjoy Twitch SMP, it is going to be digging, and I don't want to do something too terribly boring if I can help it. Hello, Alexis. Welcome on in. Hope you're doing well. Okay. I'm thinking right here, we could do like a cave sort of thing. and they had like these weird sorts of caves, and I'm sure you guys have seen some of these shapes before. They're very circular in nature, which is like so wacky. Speaking of Twitch SMP, how's the master plans going with that guy with a frog on his head? I'll be real. We haven't talked about it since then. But I'm sure they're going great. I just haven't been a good henchman and kept up to speed with all that. But I'm sure they're great, you know? I do want to get back on there, though. I want to play more Twitch SMP. It's just there's not enough time in the day. Okay, so then there's like stone, which goes down a layer, right? Okay. That kind of just looks like a really big creeper hole, but that's okay. Also, trying to think, how did these things generate? Okay, they generated regardless of the terrain around it, it looks like. Except for caves. Caves would delete portions. Okay, I see. I see. Okay. So this could be put there, but the grass itself would not. Okay, gotcha. Also, I think it should go down like here. Up. Up. Just need it to kind of come over a little bit. Doesn't have to do anything necessarily too insane. It just needs to look like it's something from an initial look. Okay, I suppose. Oh. We could do. We need some dandelions, and then also maybe a little bit of water, but that's about it. Yeah. All right. So what we'll do is over. Put like you know what? Trees. So saplings. And then I want dandelions. I know those spawn around. And then I need some bone meal. And for now, I think that's good. Okay. Oh, so a couple of cool things. I've been working on Omnia. I'm sure you guys are probably sick of me talking about it at this point. I don't know. But I've been working on it. The electrical thing, great, works fine. I lost the tutorial to the lightning bolt, though, that I used to have, that I was going to utilize. And so I gotta find that again in order to make the rest of the tutorial look right, or the rest of the ring look right. And then we can kind of go from there. But it's looking pretty good. The intro animation is. And if I can get that off my list, that is like one big thing that's sort of been holding me back from working on that game, is I really wanted the introduction sequence to look nice. I don't think these are in the game yet. So yeah, I'm hoping to get that done, maybe not this week, but at least this month. There is a lot of things I do need to get done this week, though. I have a couple of video things that I need to wrap up, and I'm hoping to also get, I've got to take my brother to work a lot this week, so I'm gonna be pretty exhausted. He's up early, for his work, so I'm gonna end up needing to probably go to bed earlier on some of these days, just for my own sake and your guys' sake as well. But we'll just have to wait and see. Up, 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 up. Okay. I think there's another thing I wanted to tell you guys about, but I can't remember it yet. Okay. That isn't terrible. I'm just trying to think about the best way to handle this now. Because those edges need to just go back further, like by 20 blocks at least. Maybe even more than that. I don't really want to do it by hand. So I'm thinking we don't do it by hand and we just move on to the next update for Okay, where's the development? Okay. We had pre-classic, classic, in-dev, inf-dev, so now it's alpha. Alpha was in 2010, June 30th, 2010. Let's see the update. That phase of the game saw many features added to Minecraft, such as multiplayer for survival, redstone circuits, boats, new music, and new mobs, often without announcement in Secret Friday update. The Halloween update on October 30th, 2010 was a major update adding biomes, the Nether, new blocks, mobs, or new mobs, blocks, and items, and other changes. One could see Alpha's introduction of biomes as being the return, at least in part, of InDev's world themes. Okay. Gotcha. Interesting. Today, 23% of all alpha versions are lost. Wow, that's sad. The lost versions of Minecraft are very interesting. I don't know how many of you guys have gotten into that, but there's been like a search for some of these versions, and you're basically just asking people who you can find that were around from back then that may have been playing Minecraft and maybe have an old save of it somewhere, and hoping that they can help you find the lost version from that time period. But more often than not, the people deleted their old files or they wiped their computer or what have you, because it was, you know, like what, 18 years ago? No. No, it's not been that long. Hang on. It's been 15 years since alpha, so that's kind of crazy. Okay. Main article, alpha. Okay. So, do I want to do each version of alpha as its own, or do I want to just do it in one fell swoop? Because there's a lot of them. Um, I'm not. So I suppose, because here's the thing, okay? So we've got, huh? For example, the earliest version of Alpha, Secret Friday 3, was, it didn't have like a ton of world gen changes as far as I can see. It removed gears, but it added, okay, it did change some world gen. It added more diamonds into the world gen and more gold ore into the world gen. And it also added redstone ore, redstone dust, which didn't have a name, iron doors, redstone torches, stone blocks, wooden pressure plates, and stone pressure plates. Outside of that, mushrooms were added to generate anywhere. If they generated in sunlight, they'd pop off. Signs could be placed on the side of blocks. And I think that's about it, yeah. I'm kind of leaning more towards there's a lot of versions of the game that we're not sure what was changed as well. So I'm kind of the mind that maybe we just do it all in one go. So the features within alpha were as follows. So you had multiplayer survival. Currently, the only way to connect to a server is to find out the IP of it to connect. Okay, I don't know why that's needed to put that there. I guess to say, hey, we didn't have realms back then, maybe. The Nether was added, a realm accessible with Nether portals that contains blocks of mobs, i.e. ghasts, zombie pigmen. Not as of yet, not found in the normal world, and allows for fast travel. 1 block traveled in the Nether equals 8 blocks traveled in the overworld. There were some different biomes which weren't like new trees or anything, but it was more so they added new new terrain generation for each biome. So there were things like cliffs and things of that nature. The addition of redstone circuits, a logical I/O system on/off system, including switches. The following items from the Halloween update: netherrack, glowstone, soul sand, pumpkins, and the jack-o'-lantern. Improved AI pathfinding and spawning, new sounds for caves and mobs, the addition of snowy and icy terrain plus craftable snow blocks, the addition of boats, cows, slime, and chickens, music, more paintings. Press F1 to remove the inventory display. While holding F1, press F2 to take a screenshot. 40 inventory slots instead of beta, and later 36, since one could hold items in the crafting slot. Interesting, you could hold items in the crafting slot. That's cool. That's very interesting. Sneaking was added, and fishing rods and fishing were also added to the game. Okay. Interesting. So, I'm just gonna start by moving over here. And we're just gonna come over this way by a decent amount. I'm gonna be far enough away from that it's not gonna be an issue. Slash that block right here to stone. I'm just gonna put some grass on top of it. And then I'm going to get a double chest. I'm gonna get a chest and turn it into a double chest. Okay. So, redstone. Redstone port. Dust isn't a little bit later. Pressure plates. You had the oak pressure plate and the stone pressure plate. You had the button and the lever. And then you had iron door. Snow layers. And ice. Then we had snow. Cactus. Clay. Sugarcane. Jukebox. Jukebox. Fence. Is that crying obsidian? No, nether portal. Okay, I just can't see. Nether portal, which is a block that we can't obtain. Can I do /give king nether _ portal? No, okay. There used to be a way to give yourself nether portal, but apparently you can't anymore. So what I'm gonna do for that is I'm just gonna get myself some purple stained glass. I do /renew. Yeah, that really should be a thing. Anyway. Nether portal. netherrack, and soul sand. Alright. Now we need glowstone. And pumpkin. I guess it was carved pumpkin, but it was a pumpkin originally. Jack-o'-lantern. Redstone dust. Snowball. Boat, which actually looked more like a coffin at the time. Leather. Milk bucket. Paper. Oh. Oh. More clay. Brick. Slime. Egg. Music disc 13 and the green one. Is it cat? Is that the one? Cat. We had furnace minecart and test minecart. Then we had a compass. Fishing rod. Clock. Glowstone dust. Fish. Although the fish is probably now cod. That's at least the closest thing we have to it. So cooked fish and raw fish. And then there was 3 paintings. One was Graham. The other was Freebit. Hong. Up. Okay, I need an anvil again. Cooked fish. Raw. Okay. Mortal coil. And then pig. Okay, that was all the items added in alpha. Which, at first, it kind of looks like, that's kind of lackluster. What do you mean alpha only had all this? That's actually quite a lot. That is quite a lot. What's the point in living? To do things that make you and everyone else around you happy. To find value in what you care about. To just wander around aimlessly is a pretty boring life, isn't it? Okay. So, what biomes did they add? Life is what you make it? Pretty much. Everybody can choose what their point is in living, you know? I can't make or tell anybody what is the right way to live, you know? Added winter mode. Maps now have a snowy or grassy theme randomly determined when creating the world. Added true biomes. They were rainforests. Seasonal forest, shrubland, taiga, tundra, savanna, plains, swampland, desert, and frozen desert. Okay. Out of all of those, let's see, the forest, the popped, the shrubland, is that removed? It is. Okay, and then taiga is still in the game. And then tundra, is that also still? No, it is not in the game anymore. Okay. There are two things that are certain in life: death, taxes. Pretty much. Pretty much. World saves remain unchanged other than a change in the hue of the grass. If the player moves into ungenerated chunks, the new biomes will generate. Okay. I see. So, the rainforest is a removed lush biome that was introduced in the Halloween update, which existed in the game prior to the first part of the adventure update. It can be viewed as a forerunner to the jungle biomes seen in later versions of Minecraft, specifically versions after Java Edition 1.2.1. Due to their denser than average vegetation, there's a higher concentration of oak and birch trees, and large oak trees are generated more often. They usually consist of low, flat plains and high cliffs and hills, but can also be very mountainous. I see. So it was just a dense area. Okay. Interestingly enough, rainforests were in Minecraft Xbox 360 edition. Title Update 1 had them. Which is very, very, very interesting. I don't want to get down the rabbit hole of all of these updates, but like, now I want to go down the rabbit hole of Xbox 360 edition suddenly. What was the version of Xbox 360 edition that was on disc? There it is. This is what I distinctly remember playing the most, which was released in 2013. And it was, what came out in Title Update 10? It looks like it was just bug fixes, maybe? Yeah, now I gotta see. Let's see, so that's the most recent one. I want title update. Which one was it? 10? I'm not seeing 10. We're interesting. Did they delete? There it goes. Okay. Yeah, there was no additions in that one. Title update 9 added the end, climbable vines, fire charges, wooden buttons, item frames, spawn eggs, sandstone stairs, spruce slabs, birch stairs, nether brick. And then the update after 10 that had new features would have been title update 12, which had ocelots, which were tameable to turn into cats, baby villagers, and iron golems. You had new items like redstone lamps, jungle wood, chiseled stone brick in creative mode only, as well as mob heads in creative only, like skeleton, wither skeleton, zombie, human, and creeper heads. There was a new tutorial world. The map height became 256 instead of 128. And there's the jungle biome, cocoa beans that grew on jungle trees. Cocoa beans pre-existed, cocoa beans growing. which was interesting. You couldn't actually do anything with them except make brown dye, but you could only get cocoa beans from like dungeon chests. It was really interesting. New AI for mobs, ambient cave sounds. Villagers will have children if there's room in their village. Yep, it was based on doors and beds, if I remember correctly. It may have been just based on doors. It may have not even been on beds. I'm suddenly kind of blanking on that. Very rare desert wells can be found in deserts. Yeah. Oh, and the mob cap. I forgot boats counted towards the mob cap in console edition. You could only have so many entities in one area. So if you had like 40 boats, that was the maximum as of title update 12. Crazy. Actually crazy. I don't need to go down this rabbit hole. We can always do another video about Xbox 360 edition or the console editions another time, because that'd be interesting. Like, does the Wii U have any data on that? No. Probably not. Although it may. Hang on. No, okay, I'm trying to find it. There we go. So yeah, the Xbox 360 and Java Edition were the only ones that had this rainforest, which was the precursor to jungles. And it was just birch and oak trees that did all that, which is interesting. Now, when was birch added to the game? I don't recall it being added yet. Hang on. Java Edition. Spruce and birchwood were added in 1.2. So just before the rainforest was removed. Which would have been, or no, okay, beta 1.8 was when rainforests were removed, so beta 1.2, or is it alpha 1.2? It's beta 1.2. The spruce and birch were added. Okay, gotcha. Alright, well, we're getting a little ahead of ourselves. Beta is where that's gonna get interesting. In that case, what I need to do... So, rainforests aren't going to look any different than any other forest I do. I can go and remove that. Seasonal forests spawned with a temperature of 97% or greater and had a rainfall value between 45% and 90%. They were commonly found between forests and rainforests and near plains. They were identical to forests, except their canopies were lower density and were only capable of spawning oak trees and had a varying amount of tall grass. The tall grass was added in beta, so in alpha it's just gonna look like a normal forest. Okay. Shrublands was introduced in the Halloween update, so that would have been in alpha. They removed in beta 1.8. Beta 1.8 removed a lot of things, but it was an overhaul. It was the adventure update, so it makes sense. It was usually quite flat due to height variation decreasing at overall rainfalls. The biome was removed upon the release of the adventure update as part of the update's overhaul to terrain generation. The shrublands were largely identical to the savanna biome, featuring few trees and no tall grass. Along with swampland, it was one of the smallest biomes in the game. Rarely ever being larger than a few chunks, it would only generate if the temperature was between 50% and 97%, if the rainfall value is below 35% and therefore too little to generate a forest. So again, it's just gonna kind of look like a plains or a forest. It's really hard to do that otherwise. Then you have the tundra and the ice desert, which, as far as I can see, tundras have a little bit more history there. So they were added in Alpha 1.2, removed in Beta 1.8. Then they were re-added to Java Edition as Snowy Plains, at that time called Ice Plains or Ice Flats, in Beta 1.9 or 1.0, depending on what kind of person you are, but that's Minecraft 1.0. Pocket Edition added them in version 0.1.0, and then in version 0.9 they removed them and built one, and then added Snowy Plains as its variant at that time called Ice Plains or Ice Flats. Then on Xbox 360 Edition, in Title Update 1 they added tundras, and then Title Update 5 they removed them and re-added them as Snowy Plains, at that time called Ice Plains or Ice Flats. Okay. So tundras and ice desert are both new versions or new biomes added at that time. Now I'm really curious. The desert was also added, and so was the swamp. So we'll add kind of those, I guess, as well. Deserts are defined as having a rainfall value of less than 20% and a temperature value of over 95%. Gotcha. Hello, Coral. Welcome on in. Thank you for submitting your taxes. I appreciate it. So deserts, as far as I know, are pretty much normal. They didn't have sandstone or dead bushes. They didn't have villages. Those weren't added till, I believe, 1.8. Maybe a little bit earlier than that. Maybe beta 1.6. We didn't have desert wells until Java 1.2.1. Or desert pyramids. Or desert temples. There was water lakes in them originally. I'm very curious why, but okay, that's good to know. Husks were added in 1.10, same thing with fossils. 1.14 allowed pillager outposts to spawn there, and the look of desert villages had been updated in 1.14 as well. New music was added in 1.20. 1.20, 1.5, they added the short dry grass, tall dry grass, and cactus flowers to generate in deserts. So I'm kind of thinking, what if we did like a couple of small islands to kind of showcase each biome that's added, but do one larger island to showcase the features for the predominant parts of it anyway. So put it over. I know that was a lot of thinking, guys, but we're good now. So we'll do like a small little island here. Smaller island works out better for me anyway. I can build those like in my sleep pretty much. If we do this on the 12-hour stream, I better just have a whole to-do list set up already for this kind of stuff. There's a lot. Okay. Thinking about building an AI task robot to clean stuff and do various tedious tasks for me for the fun and to save me time. That would be cool. I think robots are a really cool idea. My only concern is how well executed they can be. Like for example, cleaning. You know, a Roomba is actually really good, and they've gotten a lot better over the years. But for example, one thing that I really hate doing is dusting. And I've yet to see a robot that has the mobility requirements to be able to get around to dust everything, or the accuracy to do it without damaging other things. But that would be really helpful, in all honesty. Same thing with the robot that could clean, like, a bathroom, for example. You could save somebody, like, on average, probably 5 hours a week if you could create robots, or a robot, one singular one, that could do everything. But it's really hard to... It's really, really, really hard. Maybe it's not hard. Maybe it's more so it's expensive to actually design something like that. I don't know. Let's see, full-on humanoid robot. My main one is I need a robot to pick up water bottles and throw them away. That's so simple, and it's so odd to me because we do it. Like, we can make robots that can do everything, but we just don't. Yeah, exactly. And like Nafan said, there is one. It's called a woman. Yeah, honestly, I just let the women pick up after you. It's fine. It's chill. Like... Okay. So we need... like organizing my books. Yeah. I mean, I think some of it is about efficiency as well. For example, organizing your book, you know, it all depends on preference. You know, how do you want them organized, and how many shelves do you have, and you know, all those things. It can be a little more complicated than just a normal robot. Now, with the advent of AI, theoretically, it could read it, and then say, okay, we put similar books together, or we do it based on alphabet, like what you said, or we just ask the boss, and the boss will tell us exactly how they want them ordered. You know, as long as it has some amount of deductive reasoning, it can understand that. And I mean, there are some bots out there that are being trained for this. Tesla actually has a pretty interesting bot. You can look into it. I think it's called Optimus. The name is stolen from Optimus Prime. But they are humanoid bots, and they're supposed to kind of be like your own robotic butler, but also like it should be able to do a lot of these kind of chores almost. Help you do menial tasks. It's gonna be like C-3PO essentially, is kind of the hope. You know, it can be a good companion as well in your home, so it can be a part of game night. Was part of it as well. Let's see. For the record, it was a joke. Males should clean up too. I agree. What would women do than just nag us that we were doing it wrong? You know, women, am I right? Am I right, or am I right? No, you are absolutely correct, though. Men should clean up too. I firmly agree with that. Hello, Coulter. Welcome on in. Hope you're doing well. I'm building some islands today, so we'll be building an island for every single Minecraft update. Let's see. But as far as I know, there's like no currently for sale AI task robot. Yeah, that is the thing, and I think a lot of it just has to do with. So, for example, the Tesla one, part of it is that it's a proof of concept, not so much a mass-produced thing. However, the hope is that it will be mass-produced at some point in time. And so there's a lot of safety hoops they have to jump through to make sure that it's a quality product. On top of that, like you said, the price to prototype it is going to cost you more than just to mass produce it. ChatGPT is saying it's a 1K to 4K estimate there. All the prototyping you're going to be doing, it could be much more expensive even. And that's not including the time you might spend or the money you might spend to pay somebody to help develop the programming for it so that it can use its AI within itself and to use its motor functions. It's a very interesting thing. But you could definitely do most of the prototyping online. And as long as you... And then you could try to build the body for it over time. So naming certain limbs, certain things, and giving it the ability to... you're going to have a lot of actuators so that it understands how to... A hand. If you give it a hand, you may not want it to have a hand. I don't know. But you could do a lot of the prototyping online. Basically, if it's needing to do a physical action, just tell it to describe the action that it's wanting to do for the first bit until you actually give it some sort of capability to understand what it would do with the actual limb. And then it's about training. There's like robots that actually are being trained how to catch using AI. And so it looks at the target and it sees it coming at it and it moves the hand or it moves the arm or it moves the net depending on what version of it it is. But there's certain robots out there that are meant for that. Mark Rober, I think, is he the one that built the dartboard that moves so you always get a bullseye? That uses a form of AI, but it needs to be trained in order to understand exactly how to work. Why are we talking about robots? Because Swiftu in my Twitch chat is talking about robots. But yeah, you could definitely do some prototyping, that's for sure. The cool thing is I bet people would be willing to invest in something like this. Oh, 100%. I think there's people that want to invest in everything. You just gotta find your people. That's the big thing. Okay, I need some stone. And I need some sand. And I need a cactus. We'll just kind of come down and over. Boom. Okay. But yeah, I would definitely look into that a little bit more, Swift, dude. I think 1 to 4,000 is a good price that I think consumers would be willing to pay. Because we buy things like phones, and phones are expensive. Phones are about $1,000 on average. That all said, you know, we buy computers that are $2,000 to $4,000, depending on who you are. And on top of that, you've got things like, what do you got? I mean, we have cars. People spend so much money on cars. So I would say in general you probably have a pretty good shot at something like that working out, I would think. People in my town would love to buy robots like these, and I bet businesses as well. The only concern I have is businesses using it to replace people. Because let's say, you know, let's just say it's at the top end of what ChatGPT estimated, so it's going to cost $4,000 for them to buy one. And let's say people are working at $10 an hour, you know. After 4,000. After a grand total of 400 hours, the robot is paid for itself, and the robot doesn't need brakes. It functions faster and longer and better than a human being. And if it's programmed correctly, it can hold a conversation. So you could replace your entire group of baristas with one of these guys. Now, that's possibly a good thing. Hello, Blue. Welcome on in. That's possibly a good thing because you could do, like you said, humans could do more advanced jobs, but do they want to do more advanced jobs? That is the ultimate question, and unfortunately, most people aren't striving to do things that nobody's ever done before. And, you know, to some degree, that's not wrong. You know, I think if you should ultimately do what you want to do and what you like to do. Whereas, you know, the way we look at it, Swiftu, you and I would much rather do something much more creative and much more, something much more meaningful. To some people, meaning is found in just by the fact that they do get to make a cup of coffee for people. They do get to drive Amazon trucks and all of that. So while yes, it could fix the economy, it probably wouldn't. Because like it theoretically, if a robot can work the same amount of time as a normal human being and cost overall less for them, then, you know, they buy 3 robots and they replace 6 workers, for example, because they don't have to do shift work. So they just have these 3 robots running at all times and 1 manager to make sure that if the robots go down, they can kind of fix things. So what do you do about those 6 people? They don't have a job, there's nowhere for them to go, and these cups of coffees actually aren't getting cheaper, even though they should, because you're not paying as many people. They should get cheaper, right? But they don't because people are greedy. It's a great idea, and I think it shouldn't stop us from innovating, just due to the fact that our economy would suck and that it would hurt people. I do think it is a good idea. I just worry that what the implications of this idea could be as well. You know, it could be terrible, and there's got to be a plan around it as well, to some degree. Doers, we are talking about robots. That is what we are talking about. And I am building islands. That is what I'm doing. Let's see. All the money the robot makes is going to go to me because the robot has nothing to spend money on. Well, they're not gonna hire the robot. That's the thing. You know, they're gonna buy the robot from me. Now, you could do a subscription, I suppose. And if you did that, then like it would be like hiring a robot, and people pay you a monthly fee to use it. Which that could work more so. But they're not gonna, if they buy the robot outright for their restaurant, they're not gonna pay it. Robots don't get rights. We don't, screw the clankers, you know? And then I reinvest that money to make more robots to make more money. That's fair. Yeah, you could definitely make more robots with any proceeds you get. ChatGPT changed the price to 16K to 18K after further details, so that's a bit more. Yeah. In that case, let's go high end. 18,000. Divide that by 10. 1,800 hours, which is equal to 75 days worth of work for $10 an hour. So it would still be efficient for people, because if the robot doesn't need to take breaks, let's say it does need to take breaks, though, and it takes a break for 2 hours to charge every day or whatever, right? That would mean, like, theoretically, okay, you might... I think smaller businesses would keep hiring people because it's cheaper for them in the short run. In the long run, it would be cheaper for them to buy a robot, but most people aren't going to have the initial investment startup to do an $18,000 purchase. And certain industries as well are better with a human touch. Think of like music stores, for example, which I know are dying out anyway. But music stores are something that a lot of people would not go into and love to see a robot in. Because a robot isn't going to be able to play the guitar for them. Not in a way that shows what it would feel like in a human's hand, you know? When an actual guitarist picks up a guitar, they're going to play it differently than any robot can play. And a robot's going to play completely different than what a human can play, because a robot knows that its limits are different. So, you know, there are some fields where a robot wouldn't do as good, but then you've got things like, let's say, hotel staff is one. You know, if you had one robot per floor, maybe one per every two, so that it could just do 2 floors in the mornings and then be done, you know. Those things would get rid of all of the hotel care industry, because room service being dominated by robots isn't going to be a problem. Nobody's going to complain that a robot cleaned their room, you know? Because, you know, the amount of rooms I've been to that have been lazily cleaned because room service didn't want to do their job. Robots don't have a choice. They do their job. That's in their programming. They don't know how to say no. Although some of them have learned how to say no, so that I stand corrected on that a little bit, but you know, they're not going to get lazy and just not change the covers. They're not going to forget to take the trash out of the room. They're going to find out if there's a drug needle still in the drawer, because it checks all those things and it does it efficiently. That's one of those industries where me as a consumer, I would almost prefer it to be done by robots. However, I understand the humans behind it also need money. So it's one of those slippery slopes. How do you do this so that it's better for society without hurting the humans currently in it? Because like right now, for example, what I'm doing right here, an AI could probably do just as good, if not better than me. However, the human touch of it definitely helps. You know, the imperfections of this live stream is kind of what makes it a little more fun. The fact that I'm not able to build and talk at the same time is mildly frustrating, but it is part of it. An AI could do this, though, and it could do it way better than me. And in fact, there are AI channels out there on YouTube that make videos. They write their own script, They make their own thumbnails. They do their own voiceover work, and they even do their own video work. And all it requires is a user typing in a prompt in, and it's done. And they get thousands of views, hundreds of thousands of views in some cases. And you know, it's sad, but that is the reality we live in. And I mean, you're gonna be seeing this in every industry. I mean, you see it in music. There are a lot of songs written by AI that you probably have heard some of your artists even sing if you listen to newer music. Some of it you can kind of hear and you go, that might have been touched by AI, and I can't prove it, but I feel like it is. A lot of country songs are that way because AI has been able to do country very, very well. So I never know when it's a new country song if I can expect it to be made by a human or not. Now, if it slaps, I just have to say it slaps and that's that, because I don't know. But movies, there are movies that are using AI increasingly more, and I stand by this. AI art is one of those things that I don't love. And I've seen people on Twitter using it in their social media promotionals. And you can tell when it's AI. It just doesn't have the same charm to it. If I remember correctly, there's even been a game that was released recently that had like, I don't know if they outright have said that it's AI art, but I'm like 90% sure it is. Let me see if they did admit it or not. Well, if you guys didn't know what I was looking at yet, you might now. That is Water Park Simulator. No AI was used in the making of this game. We pay artists for all of our assets and marketing, images, videos, translation teams, devs, etc. We are proud to be a 100% human-made. Okay, they're claiming to be 100% human-made, and they may be. Although, I am currently looking at their branding, and that looks heavily, and I mean heavily, looks like an AI-generated banner right there. Now, maybe it isn't. I mean, it's got all the fingers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So, it may not be. However, it definitely looks it. But there have been plenty of other games that are 100% AI generated. I'll send it to you, Swift, too. Oh. I mean, that man right there looks AI generated. Now, I'm only looking at the small version because I can't see it. But, you know, the whole game itself, I'm sure, is probably actually made by a human being. But they also claim that the assets for the marketing are also created by them. That all said, there are a lot of items on the store. I don't want Water Park Simulator, please. If you just go to the front page and find one of the like top games, I'm sure you'll probably find one. I mean, you've got the madness that Steam is. Like I can't read out some of these names. Never mind, I'm not gonna read those. But some of you have probably seen the front pages Steam and gone, that's a not great name. And it's a not great game as well. I'm just now seeing like a whole bunch of games now. I need to stop scrolling through here. But I know there was one company on Twitter, or one Minecraft server, that was made and they were doing some marketing. I think I could talk about this. Dash didn't know. She made a statement on Twitter about this late afterwards. She had no clue that they were going to be using AI in the promotional material, and she was invited to play on the server, and there was going to be like a whole promo event and stuff, and she woke up one day and they had done a whole bunch of AI marketing, and you know, it probably would have, the backlash wouldn't have been as heavy on them had they not told her that that was going to happen, because Dash has made it very clear she wants to support real artists. But the marketing as well, everybody was looking at it and it was like, you know, you guys didn't even try. Like, this guy's missing a couple of fingers when over here they've got 5 on all of them. And then over here the grass is blue when it's actually green over here. And, you know, all those sorts of things. It was just kind of like, you know, a lot of companies are disingenuous. But I think human beings do the best art. And that's because we can technically do something that we've never seen before. AI can sort of do things it's never seen before. I mean, it just takes things from one image and puts it on another, and it tries to make it look right. But human beings have this unique ability to reiterate things over and over and over again until it looks completely different and completely new. And it doesn't come out looking the same. That's the thing about AI. You look at it and it's a lot of the time it has like a certain type of lighting to it. The eyes look a certain way, and that I hate how that comes out looking. I think a couple days ago I even saw a commercial on TV that was using AI. I want to say, the lighting again. That's what usually gives it away for me. Is I can't explain it. I can just tell the way the lighting bounces off of some of these objects doesn't look real or even VFX, you know? And it's crazy to me. It is crazy. If they wanted to buy it, I would have to make it fair. I would have to make it 324,000 because if it lasts 15 years and it makes 20 or 10 an hour within 40-hour work weeks, that's fair. Yeah. Yeah, I will say, I mean, I don't know. I don't think it's an entirely bad idea. I just think it's a slippery slope. And that's why a lot of companies haven't gone to doing that. You know, there are some things that are just like, I think overall it's like finding the jobs that people don't want at all, or that are considered unpleasant, and finding ways to automate those so that people that work those jobs because they need to be done don't have to work them anymore. You know, I don't think anybody truly enjoys being a janitor. However, janitary jobs are usually kind of nice because anyone can get them. If you have hands and feet, you can probably work a janitor job. That all said, you know, if it were cheap enough, schools could have these robots, malls could have these robots, Walmart could have these robots that keep these restrooms clean. The problem that you run into, I think, is human beings abuse things, especially when it comes to bathrooms. I mean, have you been in any public bathroom, guys? They're awful. They're disgusting. I could easily foresee people just being gross purely because they can. You know, nobody, well, I won't say nobody would dare pee on a person in the bathroom while they're trying to clean, but I could definitely see people seeing this robot cleaning and going, ha, watch this, guys, I'm gonna pee on that thing. And, like, that's just gross, but that's humans. That's humans for you. They're terrible people. Awful. Wretched. And, I stand by that. I stand by that claim. Also, I just realized I need to do... but... there we go. And then I need some stone. Alright. Their marketing is mostly human, but it is enhanced by AI. That's the thing. I can tell that it... Okay. I could tell that it wasn't fully human. But I could also tell it wasn't, I could also tell it wasn't fully AI either. I don't know. It was either touched up by humans after it was AI'd, or it was human and then AI'd on top of it, which is, I don't know, it's kind of wild to do that. You're gonna pay somebody to make something for you, and then on top of that, you're gonna... then you're gonna redo their work, which is, I don't know. It's a choice. It certainly is a choice. Okay. I want to do, like, maybe the snowy biome over on this side. So... the tundra, which is just snowy plains, essentially. Okay. Okay. Easy enough. That is kind of one of the things I kind of want to touch on a little bit here. I'm having a hard time with my limits with AI. You know, I don't think the blanket rule of all AI equals bad is true. I do think there are some use cases where AI is a very good thing. You know, I've heard a lot of people who have used AI as a therapy device, and it's worked out pretty okay, besides, like, some fringe cases where they were quite literally using it as a coping mechanism, where, you know, loss of life did occur. But generally speaking, you know, I think there is some amount of good that can come out of that, you know. And beyond that, I mean, there's also the case of, I mean, for example, Omnia. That is a game that cannot exist without any AI. You know, if we remove AI from Omnia, it will not be the same game. Now, the hope is that if you really don't like AI, you can just disable it. It's not going to be stealing anybody's work. It's only there to enhance the work that I've already made by giving you dynamic NPCs that are all trained ethically off of my own data set that I've collected by myself or produced myself. It's not going to be this crazy thing that, it's not going to be generating photos or anything like that. If it does, it'll be based, the art that it generates will be based off of art that I fed it that I've produced myself. Not in an attempt to generate art for marketing purposes, but for in-game content such as like an art gallery, where I've fed it all the paintings that I've ever made, all the pictures that I've ever drawn in real life, and and I feed it to that so that it can generate some things in the game for an artist to show you that they made or something like that. That's the only time I ever see that being a possibility. I just don't foresee myself needing that in the game, and I don't really want it in the game. The only AI we're actually going to be using in Omnia is a AI that it's going to be a chat model. That's pretty much what it is. And then there's going to be, that's kind of working in conjunction. There's the chat model, and then there's the game model. The game runs, and it has this AI attached to the NPC that is aware of its surroundings, and it takes that all in, and it thinks about that all the time. And you've got the other model that's actively thinking about what the player is saying or what to say to other NPCs as it's simulating the game world. It's just the best way to do those sorts of things, I think. I don't know. Also, the nether was added version, so we can kind of take some obsidian here. We can take some flint and steel. I've had a hard time determining a couple of things with Omnia, actually. And I think I'll kind of mention this a little bit. It's an interesting topic. I've been no stranger to wanting to make the game as immersive as possible. I've wanted to make it as realistic as possible in a lot of means. And I've been struggling with that because how far do you go with this? Like, genuinely, how far do you go? Because realism has its bounds. I really want to make it so that, it would be like living in a future timeline. But on the other hand of that, like, for example, if I want to make it a rated E game, there's a lot of things that I've got to cut out, I don't foresee me needing to put any obscene content in the game just for the sake of having it. But does that go against my will of wanting the game to be as realistic and as immersive as possible if you can't literally do everything? And that's been something I've been at odds with. And I think I don't need those things. You can do your best to insinuate it without actually showing anything. For example, one show that did this very well was Star Wars: The Clone Wars. Very great animated series. There were several times where, Obi-Wan and Anakin Skywalker would find themselves in different areas. And I, like, for example, I guess they probably did find themselves there, but it wasn't like a prominent place in the show. But Jabba's palace is one, and you know that's a very dark place if you actually think about what is Jabba doing there. Why does he own people, and what is he having them do? And then it kind of starts to set in. Man, this is actually really dark and twisted. Waffle, hello, Cozy. Thank you for spending your taxes. Appreciate it. How are you doing? Welcome on in. Hope you're doing well. But they didn't actually show anything obscene for the sake of just having it there. They were able to insinuate it without showing, which is good. You know, I don't think Omnia needs, for example, I don't think Omnia needs strip clubs. That's just, you know, I don't particularly want to make that a thing, and I don't think it does anyone any good. Now, if people really want that kind of content, they can make it themselves. The modding tool should be there, and it should be able to do a well enough job, but, you know, outside of that, it may just be that there's some insinuation that they exist, and that you can find them around, sort of, but they're not going to be, like, full-blown GTA level stuff, you know? Long time no see, no worries. I'm good. How are you? I am doing all right. I'm pretty tired, but I'm chilling. We're just yapping instead of building, because why would we build? Why would we build? It would be too easy if we built things. I should actually build the nether on this side. There's nether rack. Oop. Sorry, no, been here. I need even more sleeps now. No worries, dude. No worries. You be sleeping. That's good. I've been needing sleep a lot more too. So, you're all good. I forgot how weird netherrack looked. Okay, so that will represent the nether. We need some soul sand for that. And then maybe a little bit of fire. Like that. Sure. Okay. I have no SMPs to play. Had to have been doing PvP. Oh no, I'm sorry. I'm looking forward to eventually starting back up King SMP. It's just it's a long process. I am worried for it to some degree. You know, King SMP is, it's exciting. And I miss it very dearly. But I also enjoy my freedom right now. Be able to do a lot of other things. So it's kind of a scary thing knowing that, like, that might, this won't last. This freedom that I've got here to some extent won't last. And also, you know, I have no clue what, you know, what's coming next. I don't know when the next season of King SMP is gonna start. I don't I don't know. I don't know if I'm getting a job or if I'm not. Like, that's high up on my to-do list, but it doesn't seem to be working out. And I don't even know if I will be able to work a job by the end of, by the end of this whole medical diagnosis thing. I've been chasing it around. That doesn't mean I'm giving up on it, but, um, as the symptoms are worsening and there's been no answers, um, they can't necessarily stop it or cure it, I don't think, depending on what it is. But I don't know. I don't know exactly how it's going to shake out by the end of it, Cancer, well, Google says it's cancer, but Google thinks everything is cancer. I don't have cancer. No, mine's probably genetic. A genetic disease of some sort. Not like it's killing me. It's more so it just makes day-to-day life painful and tiring. I'm okay. Just to settle any concerns there. But, I don't know if I can work a job necessarily. That is one of the things. I can't stand for longer than like an hour. So, you get to things like, okay, well, is there any jobs you can do sitting down? Well, not really. I will be honest there. I've been mulling it over in my head, and, there's a lot of remote jobs supposedly, but I've not had any luck with those. So I don't know what to do about that. I really don't. And that's okay. That is okay, because until I have a reason to believe that it will continue to get worse, I just gotta be happy with what I've got, I can stand for an hour right now. I can do work for an hour standing, and then I need to take breaks. But, any dream of being a barista is probably out the window at this point, Not that I was particularly dreaming of it, but it sounded like a more fun job than working at Walmart again, which is another job that they really don't like to let you sit during. Walmart greeters is a thing, and they do let them sit. But, a Walmart cashier, they don't like letting you sit there. And, they will if they have to, but it's usually only for temporary conditions, like, oh, you broke your leg. Okay, we'll let you sit. But if you have a customer walking around with a heavy item, or you need to scan something on the bottom of their cart, it's really hard for you to do that if you're sitting down. So it's one of those things. There's a lot of considerations there. And it makes the job pool that much smaller. And, I'm left with the choice of just trying to make other things work. So that's why I've been working so fiercely on Omnia right now, is because mentally I have the fortitude to work. It's just the physical side that isn't working right now. So sorry, but I'm tired now and still need sleep, so I'll probably pop in if I have the chance. No worries, Cozy. Go sleep. Go sleep. Thanks for popping in, though. It was good seeing you. The rack is the worst looking block ever, honestly. It is pretty ugly. It is pretty ugly. We'll say, I think that's good on the nether for now, and we already did. The ice desert doesn't really matter. Okay. Redstone's already on there. necessarily. I mean, I guess, like, it just depends on what biomes I want, if I want to put more around us or not. Okay. Actually, quite a lot, really. I was going to build the bottoms to some of these because there's a lot of these islands, and I don't want to, like, put it all off and then have to do a bunch of that later. You know, that's just lame. So let's just do as much as we can at the moment. Up. Hey, this is gonna look really terrible just because it's all the same texture, but you gotta do what you gotta do, I guess. Really, I don't need to do that backside because I'm not supposed to even be seeing it during the video, but you know, it's just part of the effort I'm putting into this all or something like that. Up. Alright. Something like that. Oh no. I don't know if many of you guys have seen this video, but it was a really interesting one. So the other day, or maybe it was even today, I don't know. I was watching Ludwig though. I like watching him. I think he's a cool and funny guy. And so I was watching him, and I saw that he put out a new video recently, and it was about him trying to start from scratch streaming again. And so he didn't have any of his current account. He was just trying a brand new account, pressing live and seeing what happens. And he was trying to get a new viewer to pop in. He was trying to get somebody to chat. And poor guy spent like 5.5 hours or something like that, talking to essentially no one. The only way he was able to actually get people into his stream was by outright lying to them and clickbaiting them and saying there was a giveaway. And then that person happened to recognize them and told one of his friends, like, hey, I found a secret Ludwig stream. And outside of that, like, there was the only other person that showed up that entire stream for him was a bot right at the beginning that followed him. But they didn't say anything, and so it was kind of like, ooh, poor guy. That's one of those interesting things that a lot of people don't really think about. They think like, oh yeah, I want to be a streamer, I want to do this, I want to do that. Piece of hair in my cup, and now I can't find it. it's my hair, just clarification in case anyone was wondering. I get it? No, I did not. Gosh. Guys, I'm trying. I really am. It's just, you know, it's my hair. It's what problem is it if I drink? That's gross. That's really gross. But let's just not think about that. But yeah, the whole point of the video was essentially just to try to prove, like, oh yeah, if I redid it, if I redid it today, how would I, could I do it again? And he basically found out he can't do it the way he did it before. You know? Gone are the days where you could just press the go live button and actually get people to watch you. You had to do something with intention, and usually that means now growing on another platform and then inviting your viewers to watch elsewhere. You know, that's why people watch Ludwig to some degree, is his videos do really good. And so people want to go watch him actually record the video and maybe see themselves on screen for a brief moment because he keeps the chat on at all times, you know? And you hear him give his opinions on certain things and whatnot, you know? People really enjoy that. So it's really interesting. Really interesting how that shakes out, and the fact that, you know, even he was struggling. Somebody that's like a, you know, multi-million-dollar YouTuber and streamer, he was even having a hard time talking to himself. Like, you know, the whole theory of like, oh yeah, just talk to yourself as if there are a million people watching doesn't work, because that guy knows what it's like to talk to a million people, and you know, he was still struggling to come up with things to talk about sometimes. And you know, there's something about that kind of feels okay within me now, is to go, you know what? I get it. I get it, and he gets it too. And that means, you know, at least I know that I'm not alone in that feeling sometimes, where it's like, you know, I'm a little slower than what I want to be. Now, I've been moving, guys. Like, I have grown so rapidly in the last couple of months. I mean, YouTube alone, you guys want to know what I've done? This isn't me just flexing. This is me more so about to say thank you. If I go to analytics, and let's just go over the last 90 days, okay? I have gained 359 subscribers. Just in 2025 alone, I've gained 795 subscribers. Like, that is mind-blowing. Because that's like half of my subscriber base right there. A little over. Mind-blowing. And you know, Twitch has been a little slower. You know, we don't talk about Twitch. Actually, we can talk about Twitch. You know, I hit, was it 1,250 followers last year? So for now, let's just say for the year of 2025, I can't seem to do this the way I think I should. So for the year of 2025, I have gained 927 followers. Now, that being said, there was a day where I got view-botted with 634 follows. So we need to remove that in order to be a little more genuine here. Let me, 634. That is a total of 293 follows gained over the year, which isn't bad. That's actually really good still. But you gotta look into all the factors that influence that. You know, I got into the Twitch SMP, so that gave me like probably 20, maybe 30 new follows. King SMP ending boosted my follower count by a bunch, and you know it's a little bit. There's at least reason to it that makes it kind of pretty clear. Like, okay, maybe I'm falling off a little bit there, but I think it's more so I need to do a better job with my videos to prove, like, hey, you know, I do make streams and you guys should check them out sometime. And I mean, I do that on YouTube now a lot better than what I have in the past, because I stream to YouTube now. I used to not. I'm so glad I do, because it has led to so many great opportunities, and that's really where the bulk of my success has been, is in the streaming space on YouTube. But yeah, I don't know. It was an interesting thing. I enjoyed that video. I would highly recommend anybody here who is wanting to be a streamer go watch it, just to see how hard your hard days are gonna be, because there will be hard days. It is a guaranteed fact in the streaming space that there's just gonna be those moments. They suck. We raided Slime last stream, and I totally forgot to thank him for the gifted sub a couple months ago. I followed to become his 600th. So, hey, let's go, dude. Yeah, Slime is a cool dude. I love watching him, and he doesn't get to stream very often, but he's a cool dude. I actually watched his most recent video. He was doing a whole bunch of challenges in Minecraft, and it was a pretty cool thing. At least I thought it was. So, you know, he's a pretty chill dude. He's killed 1,000 wardens and Twitch SMP, you know, very chill guy behavior. Hello, Dumb Cloud. Welcome on in. Hope you're doing well. Okay, let's do something kind of like that. Nope. I just went on my first shopping trip. Hey, let's go. What places did you hit up, if you don't mind me asking? I can't wait. Oh, by myself. Nice. I can't wait till I'm old and I can just, like, I don't know where I'm gonna go. I'm just gonna go somewhere. I'm gonna spend a lot of money. You might be going, why? And I don't know. I'm just gonna go grocery shopping. Like, to me, that is like the pinnacle of spending. Like, can I buy my own groceries? If yes, I feel like I'm doing pretty good. I'm pretty rich, you know? I'm gearing up. My mom is gonna have a surgery in October, and basically she's not gonna be able to move her arm like at all. And so I've been kind of prepping for that, because I know out of anyone else in the family, I'm the only one that can reliably do anything. Sorry to anybody who may be watching this, but you all know it's true. That all said, you know, there's a lot of work that goes into day-to-day life. And one of those things is shopping. You know, I gotta make sure that there are groceries in the house so that I can eat. And so that the whole family can eat. That all said, I have not had to go shopping in forever. It is something that I truly do like to do to some degree. Like, it is a fun thing. but I almost never go. That all said, you know, my mom and I usually end up going shopping anyway, so she just won't be able to go with me, more than likely. I hear a weird sound and I don't know what it is. Give me like a second. I don't know. I'm playing the Arachnophobia mod in Education Edition. Nice. I did not know there was an Arachnophobia mod in Education Edition. That's really interesting. I hate clothes shopping. It gives me a weird sickness feeling, and also when I'm about to buy something expensive, it makes me feel sick too. That's fair. Clothes I don't really love to go shopping for. It just depends on who I'm with, though. I don't know what that sound is. It's driving me nuts, though. It might just be in my head. Anyway, if I'm with somebody and we're just goofing off, having a fun time, clothes shopping is fun. Like, I can do that. But if it's like me and my mom and we're just like looking for things and she's like, oh, I want to buy you like a new shirt, try this on. And it's just like, I hate doing that. So there was this one time I went to a shop and I didn't know if they had a changing room, but they kept telling me to try this shirt on. And I was like, okay, I'll try it on. And I like started to put it on over top of my t-shirt. Well, the lady that was running the store, she wasn't fluent in English. So she like started speaking this very broken English, telling me no, don't do that. And then like I couldn't understand what she was saying. So I started to take off the shirt and I was like, okay, I guess I'll take off the top of the shirt that I'm about to put this on over. I do that and like everybody starts laughing. I guess there's like a changing room right behind me. I'm like, well, I'm already stripped at this point of my shirt, so I might as well put on this other shirt that you want me to try on. It fit. I have it. I haven't worn it since then, but it was a nice shirt. It was very nice. Now when I'm buying something expensive, I don't get sick. I get almost anxious. I almost never spend my money. There are very few times I haven't been anxious about spending money, and one of those was a trip. Hello Coulter, welcome back, and hello Zaid. Hope you're doing well. Hope you become a successful streamer. Remember me when you're a big streamer. I appreciate it, Zaid. I will remember you, don't worry. I'm committing it to memory now. If it's just a shirt, then who cares about changing room? Trousers, pants would be a different story. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I almost never take off my shirt anywhere. Like, that's just like, part of it is out of respect for other people, and the other part is just like, you know, I don't know what other people are comfortable with. For me, I would take it off probably just about anywhere, as long as I know you a little bit. I wouldn't take it off on stream. There's no reason for me to take my shirt off on stream. But, well, unless I get paid a lot of money, then I might. Possibly. But, you know, like, you know, out in public, if, like, I'm just goofing off with some friends and, like, I remember one time when I was a kid, we were playing tag. or Cops and Robbers or something like that. I can't remember which one it was, but they grabbed me by my coat, and I was still trying to run, and because we were playing it like you had to wrestle me, you actually had to detain me, like that's how we were playing. So I took off the coat. They caught me again, and I was wearing a jacket underneath it, and they were holding onto the jacket, so I took off the jacket and ran. Grabbed me by the shirt, and I took that off too, and they thought I was crazy. Now, mind you, it was like late fall, early winter when that happened, so like I was a little bit crazy, but I wasn't about to lose. After that, there was no more layers to take off. Like they couldn't. I mean, I guess pants, but like I've said, we're not taking off my trousers. Those stay on. Dude, what servers do you play? I play the Twitch SMP. That's the main server I play right now. It is a server of content creators and streamers on Twitch. And then I have a community server that's in the works again. I had it like about a month ago, but I had to close it down. It will be back up at some point in the not near future. I don't want to give you guys false hope. It'll be in the future at some point though, sometime next year hopefully. Hello Graffiti, welcome on in. Hope you're doing well. Hello. Let's see. Let's go do this side. For making a Donut SMP live, I will always watch you. A lot of people talk about Donut SMP, but I don't personally have an attraction to it. I think it's a cool enough server for those who are interested, but I'm more so trying to explore some solo content, in all honesty. There's nothing wrong with people who do play Donut SMP, though. I think they're cool. One of my viewers used to play over there a decent amount. I don't know if he still does. It's just not my cup of tea, though, personally. Ooh. Okay. I subbed, I appreciate it. Thank you for subscribing. We are getting really close to 500 subscribers. And for 1,500. Sorry. We're getting really close to 1,500 subscribers. And for that, I've already promised we will be doing a Minecraft horror mod, which is gonna be fun. I don't know anything about any of the Minecraft horror mods, but I am kind of excited about it. I've seen a lot of people play them and they think they're fun, at least. So I'm a baby when it comes to horror games though, so it's gonna be a scary time, that's for sure. But I already promised I would do that. I wasn't gonna do anything for 1.5k, but somebody asked, and I was like, you know what? Yeah, we could probably make that work. You're a great streamer. I appreciate it. Thank you. I have to go. Bye. See you, Zaid. Thanks for hanging. I appreciate it. Okay, there we go. So this would be alpha, I guess? It doesn't, like, look insane or anything, though. That's the thing. Alpha was a very big version of the game. Or at least I felt like it was. I don't know. I don't know. Boop, boop, boop. Okay, boop, boop, boop. Okay. I also want to stream. Can you collab? I don't have a lot of subs though. I don't really do any collabs. Like I said, I've been trying to explore some solo content, but maybe anything's possible. You know, I try to wait and see, you know, how we mesh. So, you know, as we get to know each other, maybe we can. But I don't want to promise anything until I know if it makes sense. I want it to be beneficial for us both if we do it. That's the big thing. I just had 2 hours of volleyball, so I was low-key on and off stream, but I'm so tired. And TMI, but I'm so sweaty. That's okay. That is a-okay, Coral. Welcome back. I hope volleyball was fun. Also, please feel free to go do what you gotta do to be comfortable, and also if you need to sleep, go ahead and do that too. When did you start streaming? I streamed first on Twitch on August 2nd, 2021. And then I started streaming on YouTube in February of this year. So February 2025. I don't remember the exact day, but I do know it was sometime around then. My girlfriend has volleyball games for like the next 3 days, so I can't see her. Oof, I'm sorry, Coulter. You know, I can't relate. I can't relate. How people manage to have a girlfriend is, it is a mystery to me. I don't know what I do wrong, but I'm doing something wrong. Did you win? It was a practice. Ah, I gotcha. Fair enough. I mean, that means you basically did win. Also, Sia Zaid, thanks for hanging. Appreciate it. Let's do. You're not doing anything wrong. You just need to find the right girl. Exactly. See, you get it. That's usually the excuse I use. See, a lot of people, I make fun of myself. That's really what that was coming out of. But a lot of people think that you need to just chase everybody, anybody and everybody. There's no reason you should ever be single. But the perfect reason to be single is the fact that you're waiting to find somebody that you want to be around for the rest of your life. No point in wasting your time unless you're wasting your time with the right person, you know? And I stand by that. I stand by that. I like being single, but this girl's been wanting me for like 2.5 years. So it showed she cared. Hey, if she cares and you care, then I think it's a good thing. It's a beautiful thing to care about somebody so much and for so long. It really is. It really is. Or practice to get all hot and sweaty. You gotta play like it's the real deal, man. I cooked the A. How many points did you score? You score points in volleyball, right? You'll find someone. Oh, definitely. I'm not too worried about it. I know it'll happen. It, you know, love hits you when you're not looking for it, kind of deal. And you know, I subscribe to the idea of unconditional love. And that's a weird thing for a lot of people. We live in a very transactional world. So if you love me, I'll love you back. If you do this, I'll do this for you. You know, if you promise to not cheat on me, I will love you. But that's not love. That's, I don't know. It's not my description of love anyway. And, you know, you can find somebody that no matter what they do, no matter what they say, you can always find it in your heart to forgive them and love them, regardless of if they even say they're sorry. You know, that's the kind of love I want. And that may be like a little far-fetched because, you know, there's going to be days where you're mad at each other, sure, but do you still love them? You can be mad at somebody and love them. You're not going to treat them the way you would treat your enemy. You know, a lot of people, when they get angry at somebody, they turn into a nasty little monster. But when you're mad at somebody you love, I don't foresee you thinking of them as the scum of the earth, even though there may be days where you wish they were, because it would be a lot easier than loving. Sometimes we get so heated and so angry at the person we love because we do love, which is a interesting conundrum. You know, if I didn't love you, it wouldn't be such a big deal that you eat that way, but because I do, it bugs me. You know, it's one of those never-ending things. You'll always have threads to pull at and say, you know, I like you, but... And that's usually what gets you in a trap, is the but. Be very careful about buts, guys. Be very careful about them. I liked it more when people actually cared about some, but now it's just a bunch of dating for popularity. Yep. Which is why I didn't date anyone for a while, because a lot of girls were coming for me for my popularity. I can't relate. I wasn't in high school. I didn't go to college either. But in my teenage years, I did have a small friend group, and you know, I wasn't used for my popularity, but I do believe to some degree I was used for my... I don't want to say wisdom, because I feel like that's very self-inflated. But that was almost why it was. For my wisdom, insights, my niceness to some degree as well. You know, I had a lot of... I was a free therapist for most of my friends during my teenage years. To my dismay. I'm so glad that that is not the case anymore, but it used to be a thing. Everybody wants something from you, whether they think they do or they don't. Usually somebody's looking for something from you. You just gotta detect, is it something that's an innocent want, or is it a... Or is it a malicious want, I guess, you know? And not everybody that wants you maliciously, for something malicious, knows that they want you for that reason. They just know they do, you know? Not everybody that wants to be popular knows that they want to be popular. It's just something intrinsic in the back of their mind. And, you know, I find that, like, a lot of times these days, people don't know why they do what they do. And I wish people would think a little bit more about that, because, you know, that's all I can do, is think about who I am and why I am and what I'm doing. You know, when I send somebody a message, I think about it way too much, probably. Every time I'm starting a stream up, I think about it so much, about what do I want people to get out of this? What do I want to do with it? Why am I doing this? And, you know, that goes with relationships too. Before I ever consider asking somebody out, before I ever consider telling somebody how I feel, I think about it from their perspective. I think about it a long time, really, months sometimes, to determine, is this actually something wise to do? Is this something that I want? Is this something that they want, or that could be beneficial to the two of us? Why do I want this? Do I want it for this, or do I want it for that? Well, I want it because I actually do just love them, and it's selfish to love them. It's selfish to want them because you love them. Because ultimately, like, okay, let's like stop here for a second. Ultimately, at the end of the day, you say that you are the best fit for somebody else and that there's nobody else out there who could do a better job loving somebody than you is very it's a very big statement to make. And you know, to say I want to love you and I want you to love me exclusively is basically saying I will love you better than anybody else can, or at least I'm going to try pretty dang hard to. And that's kind of a little bit selfish if we think about it, but it's selfish in a beautiful way. Because you're both making that choice. As long as you're not forcing anybody to love you or to pretend to love you, then it's a beautiful thing that you both choose each other and you both settle in some areas, but you both really win by the end of it. I don't know. It's very interesting. All just so fun though. I had 2 people in a donkey costume and a Shrek costume running around the halls. That is awesome. That is awesome. College is a cool idea. I can't get behind how expensive it is, and I don't know if I even get a job after that. What is it? It's like, is it like only 58% of college graduates use the degree they got or something like that? It may be a little bit more than that. I don't know. And like, I'm not trying to discourage anyone else from college. It's just, for me, it's a very scary thing. That is a very scary commitment to make and say like, yes, I'm gonna do that. Because I don't even know what I'm gonna do. Like, right now, I don't know health-wise, you know, if I'm gonna be able to work a job in 4 years. Like, as scary as this sounds, you know, as of right now, my body has been going in a downward trend. I can't stand for longer than an hour. Today, when I was starting to bend to pick, like, some socks up off the floor, my hip was hurting. No matter what I did, it hurt. If I picked up that foot off the floor, it hurt. If I put that one only on the floor, it hurt. I just couldn't win. You know, there's a lot of things going on there, and until my doctors get it all figured out, it's kind of like, I don't know realistically if I'm going to be able to work a job other than something in a chair, which is fine. I don't mind working in a chair, but we've been kind of over this earlier today. There's not a whole lot of jobs that you can do in your chair, and those that you can do are really hard to get because it's a competitive market. Everybody wants to work from home. Everybody wants to be able to sit on their butt all day. And like, I don't blame them. I mean, I want to. I wanted to do that before I was hurting and before I was pretty much terrible. And my body was running at the ripe old age of 82 for some reason. So yeah, I don't know. It's one of those things. As much as I love to go and get a degree and go use it in the tech field or something, you know, a lot of those tech jobs, like, as much as we make tech all about sitting down and writing insane amounts of code, it's also going around to other people's computers and fixing them and quickly unplugging and plugging something else in. It's carrying this heavy piece of server because it went down in the middle of the night and you need to put in the new one in the rack, and it's, you know, 20-30 pounds. You know, it's all those things, and like, you know, I can't bank on that. I can't bank on that until I know what's going on. So it is what it is. It is what it is. Are you religious? I myself am, yes. I am a Christian. I'm in middle school, but my family works at a high school. I'm in middle school, but my family works at my school, so I know everyone. So I'm popular middle school and high school and a little in elementary. That is awesome, dude. That is really cool. Right now would be the perfect time to raise someone up. Why is that? I'm very curious. I am very curious. I mean, right now would be the prime time in my life. Not because I need somebody to lean on. It would be nice for that. But beyond that, it's kind of like, I just need somebody to hang out with. Okay, guys, like, think about this. Think about this. So, I do a lot of work all day, all night, right? I make videos, I do streams, I do game development on the side. And that's great. But it's hard to do it when you're not showing it off to people all the time. Because it's like, I'm a person that almost needs positive reinforcement. I'm like a, what was it? Like, golden retriever boyfriends, was that the term? Where they're just like a golden retriever. They're just happy to be there. You know, positive reinforcement helps. And, you know, they're just like a golden retriever essentially, but in a human form. That's kind of the vibe I feel like I am to some degree. I'm just happy to be there, but I love positive reinforcement. Like, you tell me I'm doing a good job and suddenly it's like 10 times easier to do it again. Easy. Also, I'm sorry for the ads on the Twitch side, guys. But yeah, it would be nice. It would be nice. King, I'm very maliciously here for your money. I'm sorry to say, Coral, but in terms of money, there is no money. How much do I have in my right? I have 20, 40, 60, 80, 90, 92, 93. I have $93, including one $2 bill. Jeez. 92 ain't bad, but that's all I've got in my wallet, and you know, quite honestly, I don't know if that's enough for anybody to be maliciously here for my money. Go, like, steal money from Elon Musk or Bill Gates or Leonardo DiCaprio. I don't know why him in specific. I just needed an actor. Okay. King, you're dying. Google tells me you have breast cancer. Not my breasts. I don't want to lose those. That is that is truly a statement of all time. Yeah, you know, Google's been telling me all about the cancers whenever I Google it, so I just don't Google it anymore, because it's not that. My geneticist doesn't know what it is, but he wants me to come back and go actually see him. And then I got a rheumatologist, which will check me for arthritis, which will kind of be nice. Although it's very unlikely that it comes back as arthritis. It is possible, though. And then, I don't know, I may end up going up to, like, my nearest university hospital and just ask them to do the absolute most blood testing they can. Like, I will give them as much blood as they want and just run all the tests. Like, at this point, I know they don't like doing that because that is a lot of blood, and they may have to make me come for several trips because it is, like, that much. My last test, which is only for the rheumatology, was 3 of the big vials of blood and then 1 of the tiny ones. And now it's only one test. Like, you know, it would be kind of crazy to walk in there and ask them to do that. But at this point, it's kind of like if you run all the blood tests, you have a perfect snapshot into my health as of that one day, and you can find everything wrong. And I feel like that's perfectly legitimate to do. But they probably wouldn't. More than likely. Are you religious? I'm gonna pray for you tonight. I appreciate that, Coulter. I appreciate it. You're doing great. And whenever you're big one day, I hope you remember I was here from the start. I will, dude. I will. I appreciate it. Thank you. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. It's just a matter of time. You know, I don't have any choice. That is the thing I've been saying. Success is my only flipping option. Failure's not. And, you know, whether that be in the game dev industry, Omnia is going to be the biggest game of all time. I'm telling you guys, okay? I truly believe in the idea, and I will be making it regardless of whatever's going on. The YouTube channel's doing fine. I just don't have the energy most days to do as much with it as I should be doing. I'm tired a lot. But it's okay, you know. I will live. I will survive. I'm not dying. That's as much as I know. That's good enough, you know. I don't know. I do not know. I'm maliciously using you for your looks and love. You know, that is a great line. I love it. I love it. I gotta go. All right, sounds good, Coulter. Thanks for popping in. I appreciate it. Have a good rest of your day. We'll catch you another time. You need to swipe right more, Reg. I refuse to get on those dating apps. I don't know. I understand that they do work for some people, and I'm not discounting that. But I struggle with it. I want to know somebody so well before I even go on a date with them that I want to be able to be their friend before I can be their boyfriend or their date. You know, like nowadays what we see in dating is, you know, you got from point A to point B to point C to point D, right? So you've got date, boyfriend, or more so date, friend, boyfriend, and then husband, maybe. Now, I prefer friend, date, boyfriend, husband. See, I swapped the two first ones because I want to know I can be your friend before I can be your date. Because if we don't get along as friends, then we're never going to get along as husband and wife. We're never going to get along as boyfriend and girlfriend. We're never going to get along as just dating. Dating is a different bird to living a day-to-day life with them. And so I've made it very much my mission to get to know people as well as I can before I even consider it. And usually it's not that I consider it ever. It's just, it pops into my head as an idea as I get to know them. And I'm like, huh, that's cool. They're a really cool person. I wonder. And then usually I do nothing with that wondering. I just kind of go, you know, if they liked me, then they'd probably ask me, right? Right, guys? Right? The copium. The copium. Use Grinder. I don't... Is that the one app? Not, you know, not that one app, but the other app. It's the future. Apparently not sure if don't need / use. If I don't need / use them, that's fair. I don't know. My sister kind of met her husband through online, sort of, kind of. It was through a mutual friend, but I think there was some amount of online there that happened. I don't know the full story. They never told me. Because at first I think it was like they didn't want everybody to know that they met online, if I remember correctly. And so then it was like, we met through a mutual friend. Because it was true. They did have a mutual friend. But I think it was a little different than that. Anyway, all that said, they've worked out just fine. I mean, they're going on maybe 10 years, coming up on 10. I don't know. They've been together for a very long time. You know, three young kids, happy marriage. That's awesome. So it does work. I don't dispute that. It's just, I don't know. The way my brain works, I can't foresee myself not, you know? I don't know. I'm in a very minimal rush, I should say that. You know, it's not like I'm rushing to find the first person who's desperate enough to take me. Because if I were, I would just get on a dating app. And then I'd be a sim. And it would be great. I could win anybody over. But I'm looking for a one and done. And I know a lot of people are like, but King, that's impossible. You can't just do a one and done. Watch me, okay? Watch me. I know exactly what kind of person I'm looking for. I realized how I was starting to sound there. It's not like I've got one person in mind. It's more so I've got one type of person in mind, you know? And as long as you know what you want, you know, the kind of people you click with, you can usually find that person. It's just a matter of waiting and not necessarily actively searching either, just keeping your nose down and getting some work done, you know? Honestly, I should be doing more. Right now, I should probably actually be building islands. I should be probably making some videos and working on Omnia. You know, Okay, I have an example here. And I'm only bringing this guy up because of the fact that the example fits very well, not because of any other reasons. It's also fresh on my mind due to other things that have happened in the world recently, but Charlie Kirk. I'm sure you've all heard his name plenty of times lately, but we're not going to get into the bad stuff about all of that. We're just going to talk about his earlier life. His wife, the girl he ended up marrying, went to apply to work at his organization, Turning Point USA. And she went in for an interview and she felt like she didn't do great, but it was whatever. And I guess he called her after a couple days had gone by or something like that. And he was like, hey, I want to go meet you in, you're at New York, right? I'll fly down there and I'll meet you and we'll talk about this. And so they met and they talked for hours and hours and hours about the Constitution, you know, political stuff, religious stuff. They just talked. And by the end of it, he's like, hey, you know, so I don't think I'm going to offer you a job. But I want to know if you'd want to be my girlfriend. And at first she was very much you know, that's crazy. We just met kind of deal. But as he stood his ground, he was like, I'm dead serious. Like, you know, you check all the boxes. You're exactly who I'm looking for. And, you know, I have all the friends I want and could ever want. Like, but I don't have a girlfriend. And, you know, I like you for who you are. And, wouldn't you know it, they got married. Like, it helps if you know what you're looking for. You know, he went for a job interview. That is what he went for. He did go to hire her, but it ended up being that they got married, which was really sweet story. Now I don't think everybody's love life is gonna look like that necessarily. I don't think everybody's love life should exactly reflect that, but if it were that easy, you know, everybody would have a girlfriend by now. Hi, you seem like a nice YouTuber. I appreciate that, Liam. Hello, hope you're doing well. I'm off to see the wizard, the wonderful Wizard of Oz. Well, I hope you enjoy the wonderful Wizard of Oz. Put in a good word for me. I'm trying to get a job with him. I'm not doing much. I'm just running in circles. But my whole point to all that conversation was, you know, just live your life. And, you know, I don't know if I necessarily believe in there being just the one. Like, I think there's multiple people that you could fit with and that you could have a long-term relationship with and be happy and, you know, all that. But I do think you will find a person for you and they will become your one, you know. It's not so much that they will start as the one and there's nobody else out there, but they become your one because of the fact that when you commit to them, you don't want anybody else, you know? That is my thought on it, at least. I don't know. Like I said, I'm just happy to be here kind of deal. So I'm not gonna be looking after I have my foot in the door. You know, I'm just here. If it works, great. If it doesn't, then like I'm sad. But you know, I'm not always looking for more opportunities necessarily. I'm happy with what I have. A lot of times you find them where and when you least expect it. Absolutely. Absolutely. King, I'm telling you, go on Grindr Prime Spot. I don't think so. I don't think so. Let me just, like, pull it up really quick. Let's see the reviews. Alright. Grindr, gay dating and chat. 5 stars. Good way to find friends. I love to read profiles, so I wrote one that's quite detailed. I'm just particular about things like that. Sometimes the face doesn't match the profile, so it's good to read them. 5 stars, thank you. I'm just happy to be here and appreciative for all the fun I've experienced since using the app. It's with great pleasure that I say thank you to everyone at Grindr for the opportunity to meet and have fun with new people. Great app, but I can't read that. I can't read that one out loud. That one's just bad. Love meeting new people. We all know what this site is. They could let you see more people with having to pay. Connect and meet with new people. I love this app. It's easy to use and it provides the opportunity to connect with people. I think more people are walking away with friends than anything else. You know what? Fair enough. Fair enough. I mean, it's probably great if you're gay, I guess. I don't know. For me personally, I don't know if it helps. But, you know, that is always a second option, am I right? Won't be lonely anymore. I won't be lonely anymore. That's crazy, Coral. I mean, you're not wrong, I guess. I wouldn't be lonely. I'd have plenty of friends. Apparently it helps you meet friends. This is new to me. I'm back. Way too far? What's way too far? I was told by one of my Twitch chatters that I need to get on Grindr. So I was reading the chat, the reviews. That's all. Me personally, I don't know if it worked, but you know, to each their own. To each their own. I love women. Women are great. Do you guys like women? They're scary, but they're great. Lady Moore is crazy though. Crazy. But okay. Bop. 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 Okay. Not when they have bad attitude. I mean, men can have bad attitudes too. I don't know. People are interesting. People are very interesting. Hello Zaid, welcome back. Hope you're doing well. You know, I don't know. I find that women are some of my favorite people to be around. And I can't explain it. No, I actually can. See, men are cool, okay? They are cool. But I find that the women I meet are into traditionally more masculine type of activities, things like gaming, like going to the gun range, like I don't know what else is typically masculine, fishing and you know, those types of things. I don't love fishing. That was just one that I could kind of think of as like more traditionally a male dominated field. Same thing with hunting. I don't go hunting. Another one on there. But gaming and watching sports, that's another good one, yes. And going to the gun range. Those are all things that I love to do. I don't love watching sports, but if I have somebody to watch it with, it's a good time. I don't like watching it alone though. That's the thing. If I'm watching it alone, it makes me feel, it just reminds me like, oh, like, did you guys just see that bad call they made? And then I look back and there's nobody there. And it's like, oh, that's a bummer. Do you think I can get to 2,000 subs one day? Oh, absolutely. Anybody can do anything if they put their mind to it. So yes, you could definitely hit 2,000 subscribers and eventually. You just gotta keep trying. That's the thing. If you really want it and you keep working, you will hit it. I know there's some people out there who disagree with me. You know, there is some element of luck to... There is some element of luck to YouTube, but for the vast majority of it, it's about making good content consistently. If you make very good videos, very good shorts, you make very good streams consistently, and you just keep working at it, even if they're not getting very many good views, they're good. If they're good videos, if they're good streams, if they're good content, eventually one of your videos will pop off because it got lucky and all of your other videos will go up with it. It's hard. It's hard because as somebody right now who sits before you at 1.5K on Twitch and 1.4K on YouTube, I've been doing this for 4 years, and you know, I'm not even at the I'm not even at the beginning of what most people would consider is successful, you know? But I've been working my butt off for it. And this last year was the year I went from 600 subscribers up to 1.4K. You know, I've almost gained 1,000 subscribers in a year. So that should kind of tell you, you know, it comes and goes in waves. And as long as you keep trying and you keep working at it, you will see success. You just gotta keep trying. You just gotta keep trying. Actually, because I'm at 23, I'm not at 50. Hey, dude, everybody starts somewhere. Everybody starts somewhere. I believe in you, though. I do. I'm gonna be honest, I've never seen a sports game in my life. You see your sports game firsthand on the pitch when you play volleyball. That is true. That is very true. Hello, Minnie. Welcome on in. Hope you're doing well. Hello, hello. What do you suggest? Well, what kind of content do you want to make? That is my first question. You know, what are your... Do you want to make shorts? Do you want to do live streams? Do you want to do videos? Do you want to do all of that? What do you want to make those things about? How much time do you have to dedicate to it? Those are all questions that I would really encourage you to think about first. Random stuff, short and live. Okay. So you're kind of wanting to do variety shorts and live streams. Okay. So I would recommend doing is starting with shorts. Because once you get the hang of that, it's really easy to build up a backlog so that you can start making the live streams. My friend PC Gus, he's at 30,000 subscribers right now. I think he's at 30,200 subscribers maybe. He does predominantly shorts, and if he ever falls off schedule, he sacrifices his streams because in the course of one of his streams, he could record and edit like 40 shorts. So he got really, really good at shorts so that he can actually make his his live streams whenever he wants. So I would encourage you to start with shorts. Try to post like one a day every day if you can. So you got 2 hours. So let's say, you know, one day you start just by researching topics and writing some scripts. The next day you record it. The next day you edit it. And in those 3 days, hopefully you could do like 6 shorts, let's say. And then as long as you keep adding to that, you're always going to have extra shorts in the backlog, always getting ready to post. And then you can start doing live streams after that. Because you'll also be building up an audience as you do the shorts. And that's what I would highly recommend anyway. Now, doing random stuff, it is a little harder. Just because you're trying to grow an audience who is going to have to be there for you rather than what you do. I have a lot of people pop into my streams and they start by watching because I'm playing Minecraft and they know to expect me playing Minecraft. But they end up starting to come because of who I am. I can think of a couple of names that I can throw out there, but right now, for example, in my Twitch chat, I've gotten a fan and Coral, both of which have proven pretty well that they'll watch regardless of what I'm doing and how badly I'm doing it. So, you know, you'll start to find your people. It'll be a slow-going thing at times. Ludwig, you may have heard of him, and you may have even watched this video already. But he did a video showcasing what it's like to be a streamer with 0 viewers. He started a brand new account and just went live. And he streamed for, like, I think 5.5 hours. And he didn't have anybody show up until pretty much the end of that. And he admitted it's hard to talk to nobody. It's hard, but every streamer does it at some point in time. And so if you're willing to stick it out through those hard times, you'll earn your viewers. You know, there are days where I'm talking to 0 people. Or not talking to 0 people. I'm usually talking to at least 1 person. But there may not be somebody talking in chat actively. You know, I don't know what my viewer count is right now. I'm gonna assume probably between the 2 platforms, it's probably like 7, maybe 8. That's probably overestimating in all honesty, though. So, you know, but there's times where nobody's wanting to respond to anything I say or any questions I throw out, and that's okay. You know, they're there because not because of the value that they provide to the stream, but because of the value you provide to them. So, as long as you're providing some sort of value and you're providing a consistent amount of value to the people that are there to support you, they will always be there, and they will always support you for who you are and what you do. Let's see. I want to start my YouTube, but I keep putting it off. I'm not much of a talker and never know what to say in the video. I tried once and brain was blank. It was for Minecraft Forever World, by the way. Oh, I see. Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to do videos. For those, it takes a lot of practice. I used to script every single... I don't know. I found like a penny, but I don't know. I don't think that fell on me. I don't know where it came from. Okay. Anyway, yeah, videos are hard. I used to script everything I said in every single one of my videos, and then I eventually narrowed it down to talking points. I would recommend for a Forever World. I've never done those style of videos, but I would say the best thing you could do probably is marking some talking points and marking some goals, and then that kind of can help you. And then if you need to, you can always add more talking in post. So if you feel like you didn't talk enough in certain portions, you can always re-record it and you could dub over it, basically. And you can be honest about that in the video and say like, hey, Future and a fan here. I realized I didn't talk very much and I wasn't happy with how it turned out, so I wanted to just give you a voiceover of what I did instead, because I felt more happy with that. And you can re-record a voiceover as many times as you want. And that may become your style even. There's a lot of people who do voiceover content while they play the Minecraft pre-recorded, essentially. So, you know, it's all about finding your style and finding your groove. I used to suck at talking. Like right now, you guys aren't going to be able to get me to shut up, and I feel bad about it, because I really probably should shut up, but I won't. Also, I'm about to sneeze. How much you're yapping while running around on the island. Exactly. What I would do is hop on call with my friends, pretend I can hear them, and then turn my volume down and act like I'm blabbering to my friends. Yeah, honestly. I don't know. It's pretty... You'll get used to it eventually. I believe in you. I know you got your wallet out. That could very well be it. 45 million, quadrillion, quintillion, bruh. That's insane. I find talking over a screen like texting much easier than IRL talking or calling, so you could pretend you're just texting someone, like hit the record button that translates it into text and pretend you're just using that. Yeah, I will say, as somebody who almost exclusively talks over digital technology now, texting I find actually harder than calling. But that's usually because I know exactly what I want to say when I call somebody, and I can play off of how they're talking to me to get an idea of how to respond to them. Whereas text, I struggle with it because I never know if I'm just being annoying and they're not nice enough to tell me that I'm being annoying. Anyway, the point of that all was to say, I find digital to be a lot easier for me to talk to people. So that's partially why I can do this so well, and why I can hold a very long conversation. I mean, I've told you guys this before. I mean, it's not uncommon for me to call one of my friends and us talk for 14 hours. A couple weeks ago, I talked to one of my friends for 4 hours. It was a spontaneous call, but we just ended up talking for that long. They called me, actually. And I mean, I felt like, you know, near the end of it, I was probably talking a little bit more than they were, but, you know, that wasn't like a problem. It's just, you know, conversations aren't ever like 50-50. It's kind of like relationships, you know? They're, they're kind of like, some days it's 25% one person, 75% the other, you know? It's not always 50-50. It's the same with conversations, you know? Sometimes they're yapping because they've got on a thought train and you just gotta ride along with them. You got the ticket to ride, so you might as well. And sometimes it's you ranting, or sometimes you're both quiet because you're trying to hope the other person will talk, and then none of you want to talk. So then you start to break the ice a little bit more. You know, sometimes you got to carry a conversation, and it's just because the other person isn't feeling it at the moment, but they do want you to be there. I don't know. I find calling people a whole lot easier. Now, in person, I don't know what's wrong with me. I struggle with that. I don't know if it's just because my brain doesn't know what to do with the extra information of actually being able to see them. And also part of it is due to auditory issues. I can't hear very well. So when I'm sitting at my computer, I can turn it up as loud as I need so I can hear them clearly. When I see them in person, though, I can't just turn them up louder. And my ears have been getting worse, I think, which is a whole topic. Because I know I'm about to get called old again, but, you know, it is what it is. I just know, virtually speaking, talking to them over a call is easier for me. Feel stream is easier for talking as you got chat to talk to. Absolutely. As long as you've got a chat, it's not so bad. You're not old, you're ancient. Yeah, it checks out. How hard? Talking like to YouTube. It can be pretty hard. I don't know. Every person finds it a little different. The best thing you can do is to start, because it's just a skill you'll learn over time. You know, there's like usually 10 minutes of footage for every 5 minutes that gets put into my videos. There's an extra 10 minutes that I end up cutting because I ranted for so long on something that you guys frankly didn't care about or didn't need to know. Like, I kid you not, I'm pretty sure. How long was my most recent news video for Minecraft? Let me see. Minecraft Live 2025 to Electric Boogaloo, all detailed. 4 minutes and 42 seconds. I believe that video, me recording it, like, it was just a black screen, all audio. I had it up to about 17 minutes of just me yapping. I had to cut a lot out of that. There's some other videos that are kind of like, for example, my most recent video, Legacy, King SMP Season 1, that one was originally set to be 4 minutes, but I cut it down to 3.5. You know, it just depends on what I've scripted it to be. If it's a heavily scripted video, it's going to probably be about the time that I recorded it initially, and then editing will take maybe 30 seconds at most. 30 seconds off. If it's a news piece where I'm just free balling it, you know, just going for it, there's a good chance I rant a lot and you guys will get a whole bunch of that content cut because there's just no reason for me to rant that much. Same text, I can talk no problem, just not in real life talking, same as you. Oh, I find talking so much harder. That's fair. That's fair. It's hard. It is hard. I don't know. All this talk about other things makes me want to go do other things, and I don't know. I kind of want to work on Omnia. We got one island done. That is alpha. That is something. And we did finish up InfDev. That's something else. Random question, what's up? I may have a random answer. Should I ask? Yeah. What's your question, man? Oh, should you ask your crush out? Tell me about them. If you had to... If you had to summarize them into, like, 3 sentences or less, how would you summarize them? That's a hard question, but it's an important question. And then I guess I also want to know, do you like them? Like, genuinely. Is this just something that's like, I'm intrigued by them, I think they're cool, and like she's, like, is it that, or is it like, you actually feel a strong attraction to her and you see yourself in the future with her, maybe? Because that all changes a little bit about it, you know. It ultimately depends on what both of your goals are. She's pretty nice. I like her personality, and yes, I like them, maybe. Okay. Here's what I'll tell you. Live without regret. I don't want anybody here to ever be a year down the road, 2 years down the road, 5 years, 10. I don't want you to be any point in time down the road and regret something. So if you like her and she's nice and you like her personality, what do you have to lose by asking her out? You have everything to gain, you know? At worst, like, she says no, things might be awkward for a couple of days, and then you'll go back to normal. At best, you end up with a wife down the road, if that's what you are both aiming for, you know? And, you know, it's hard to look at both the positives and the negatives and say, okay, so at worst, you know, she says no, it's going to lead to a couple of initial days of awkwardness, and it's going to hurt for a little bit. But at least I'll know. And then 2, you know, best, you know, we end up, you know, having a beautiful future together. And more than likely, there's something in the middle. That's the thing. We always look at the best and the worst, but what about the middle? What about the middle? So, you know, she may not tell you no, but she may not tell you yes. It may just be, I need to think about it. Like you said, you don't know if she likes it. And that's okay. It may be you guys go out and you both find out you don't really work that way together, and that's okay. You know, I think you should, but only if you are serious about it, you know? I don't want you getting hurt later down the road because of a poor decision that some YouTuber made for you. But I do think you should ask her out. And, you know, I think ultimately at the end of the day, let her yes be yes and her no be no. If she says no, and let that be that. Don't treat her any differently. And just show her that you can be respectful about it. Sometimes that changes people's mind, but you're not being nice to change her mind. You're being nice to have integrity, which is arguably more important than anything else. If you're the same person that you are every day, no matter how they treat you, no matter what they say to you, no matter whether you get what you want or not, you are a very desirable person. And that's good. Maybe tomorrow? If you're feeling up to it, absolutely, go for it. I'll say this. Asking somebody out is something you don't want to overthink. So the less time you give yourself to do it, the better. At least in my opinion. Because anybody worthwhile isn't going to be fussed about the fact that, or about how you ask them and how nervous you are or how much you stumble over your words. They're not going to be fussed about that. If they're worth keeping, they'll find it charming, maybe. But I don't want you to talk yourself out of doing it. So if you're committing to tomorrow, do it, like, genuinely. She might be feeling the same way and waiting for you to make the move because you're the guy. Yeah. I mean, yeah, sometimes people... We were talking about this earlier where I was like, I've waited for other people to make a move before. Just because I didn't know if they felt a certain way about me. And I was like, if they haven't yet, then they must not like me. Don't be that guy. I've since learned that is a terrible philosophy. Take initiative. It's scary to lay your feelings out there before someone, but once you do it once, you start to find out that it's like really easy to do. I don't know. I do it in front of my stream pretty much all the time. I tell you guys, like, hey, I'm doing this. Hey, I'm doing that. I feel this way right now. You know, that only happens after a little bit of vulnerability with somebody. At least in my opinion, it does. But it's a very brave thing to do, to be willing to go and tell somebody, I have a crush on you, and I would like you to go out with me tomorrow, or probably not tomorrow, maybe say next week or this weekend, or something like that. If there's a movie you both like, talk about it. Let her be involved in the process a little bit. Tell her, like, I was wondering, say something to the extent of, hey, insert name here, can we talk for a minute first? If she's busy, then, you know, maybe it's not a good time to ask. But say, like, hey, you know, I've got a crush on you, and I was wondering if you would want to go on a date or something to that extent. And, you know, both of you need to have a discussion about what that entails, what your expectations are. You know, are you talking, how much are you supposed to talk? Let some of that not be hardbound set, but if she's expecting good morning and good night texts, then, you know, you need to know that. Communication is key in any relationship. Elementary school? Okay, I see. In that case, yeah, you got nothing to lose, everything to gain, dude. I believe in you. I believe in you. But yes, I'll be streaming tomorrow more than likely, so you'll be able to tell me how that goes. And I look forward to it. You know, every streamer that I've ever talked to, that has had other people ask them if they should ask the girl out, it's been a 100% success rate. So, you know, that is at least a good sign, I think. Can't stay long, but just wanted to say hi. By the way, I love the idea of the video. Thank you. I very much appreciate it, Strap. Yeah, I'm enjoying it. This is a good one. I'm very slow. I'm only building one island per stream. It's so bad. It's so bad. But yeah. You know, that's okay. That's neither here nor there. Pro tip is girls are usually desperate too, so they'll say yes, probably. I mean, maybe. I don't know. I don't. I can't say for certain on that because I'm not a girl. So I can't speak on their experience on that. But, you know, women are about as desperate as I am. So if they're as desperate as me, they'll probably say yeah, maybe, unless they're committed to finding something long term and they feel like it's a waste of both of our time. Then in that case, maybe not. Okay, too far. Okay. So yeah, loneliness is a spectrum, guys. So there's me, there's women, other single people, and then like married people right there, you know? There's a big gap between me and them. Like, I am a huge desperate person. I'm gonna cry. You guys are so mean to me. Should I get her number first? I would say get her number if she is interested in talking about it more. But I don't know if I would necessarily recommend getting her number first. Just because you don't want it to come off as that being the sole reason you're asking for it. You know, that way you can, I don't know, there's a lot of guts. I'll tell you this, okay? If there's one thing you can do, it's always ask in person or over a phone call. I cannot tell you the amount of times that I've heard people get complimented for saying something over voice. I've gotten a compliment for that as well. If you will have a little bit of courage and do it, you're set. You'll get, at the very least, they'll give you kudos for it. Because it's so much easier to text. It's so much easier to send a text and say, okay, I've done my due diligence. I don't need to do anything else. One, it doesn't warrant a response. They can just pretend to not see the text. You'll get a straight answer if you talk to them in person. Two, it shows that you're brave and you're not afraid to say how you feel about them. That makes them feel good because it's like, they care about me enough that they want me to know exactly what they say, and they trust me enough to say it in front of everybody else. Not necessarily like broadcasting it to the world, but you know, to an extent, it's like people can kind of see you talking with each other, and they can ask what that's about, and you know, it's a vulnerable thing. It's scary, but it shows a lot of courage, and I think courage goes a long way in today's world. I believe in you. I think you got this in the bag, dude. I'm sure it'll go well, and if it doesn't, you know, at least you know she wasn't the one. And that's hard. That doesn't make it easy. But I think it's to me anyway, that makes it a much easier choice to do. We'll find you a nice young lady, Reg. Hey, there's one in chat. A nice young lady in my chat. That's, who's in my chat, dude? We got Nathan and Coral. So we got one person that's nice, which would be Nathan, and then we got one lady, which is, Coral. You know, I think I'm good. No offense, chat. No offense. Hey, I'm nice. I mean, you did give me a compliment once. You told me that I was... What did you say? I was sometimes good at Minecraft, I think is what you said. I'll take that. That was nice. That was nice of you. I guess everything else is just you speaking the truth, calling me lonely and desperate and old. That's all true. Let's see. Listen to other friends. I've done it. It's hard to reject a person. Reject in person. That is true. That is true. I'm old. I'm ancient, dude. I'm 21. Can you imagine that? Are girls looking for relationships in elementary school? Seems a bit young. I don't necessarily know. As somebody who was once in elementary school, I think a lot of us thought we knew what we wanted and what we were interested in. But we eventually grow into different stages. Now, there are some people I know who started dating in elementary and went clear on through high school and even into college, and they're still dating to this day as far as I'm aware. So, like, it can work. But I don't know. I will say, as somebody who is old, I usually recommend to most people not even to date until they're in high school. Because your worldview is not set in stone really until you're, what, like 12, is it? Maybe? Your worldview is still very much malleable and can change on any given day. That all said, you know, I don't know, you know, anything can happen. Anything can happen. So I'm not gonna tell you not to follow your gut, not to follow your feelings to some degree. Just be aware that is a thing that a lot of people do go through a lot of changes before they even hit middle school. So you got a long road ahead of you. If you like her, then I'd say, you know, definitely consider it. Let's see. Yeah, Coral's a nice young lady, fun to talk to, polite, always here to support you. What more could you ask for? I mean, that's fair, but you are Canadian, so like... I mean, okay, that is a double-edged sword, now I'm thinking about it. You're Canadian on one hand, probably a little bit French, but maple syrup. So, like, you know, double-edged sword there. Oh, Canadian, didn't know that was part of the deal. Yeah. Yeah. I'm sorry, this has nothing to do with Coral, but it has everything to do with Canadian. I don't know how many of you have seen Casually Explain's video of women, but it's like, is she into you? I think is actually the title. Casually Explained, is she into you? And so there's... it basically takes you through all these scenarios where where he's with this woman and he's like, so is she into you? And, you know, yes, no, or we really don't know. Maybe she's just being polite. And in one of those scenarios, it's she takes you up to her room, probably to show you like her cool Lego collection, and she takes off her clothes and turns down the lights. Is she into you? And the video, like, is just like, yeah, we still can't really be too sure. Maybe she's just being nice. Maybe she's Canadian. And I kid you not, anytime anybody says anything Canadian related, that's where my mind goes. And like, is that awful? Yes. I know you Canadians are nice, but you're not that nice. It's funny though. It's hilarious. And my YouTube chat is like, bro, I can't be here. I'm sorry, that's as much as I was gonna say. That you guys are good. I just that is casually explains is she into you video. It's a great video. I can't recommend it to you to any of you on YouTube, but for those of you on Twitch, definitely check it out sometime. It's really opened my eyes up to women and how to read them, because I found out you really can't be too sure. You know, maybe she's just being nice. Maybe you know, maybe she's Canadian. That's as much as I can say. Exactly. I thought you were 17. Nope. I am 21. I'm an old man. I was 17 4 years ago. That's a little sickening. First couple of my school was 5th grade. I don't know, but I'm pretty sure they're still dating. That is crazy. That is awesome. That's great for them. I'm back to your channel. Portal, help me, King. I'm losing my sanity. Why is that, gamer? Why is that? I was 17 a month ago. A little more than that. Okay. You're old. I forgot about that. Yeah, you're 18. Yee. I'm sorry, Coral. You're ancient, man. Pretty soon you'll just be like in a box and you'll be bones. A true happiness is one without regret. Follow me and you'll regret nothing. Endure so you can endure even more. Lost, follow good light. Hello, Dayoil? Dayoili? Welcome on in, hope you're doing well. True happiness is one without regret. I would tend to agree. If you're happy, you're probably not regretful. So to live without regret would be the best choice there. Are you in a relationship? No. No, I am not. I have been given great amounts of wisdom when it comes to relationships. And I guide others to a treasure I cannot possess. It's been long stated in all of my friendships that I'm the guy you go to for relationship advice. And it's not because, like, I've lived through so many relationships that I know what I'm talking about. It's because I've watched enough TV, I've read enough books. Like, I've genuinely actually read books about dating advice. I've watched videos. I know how people work to some degree. I've had a great relationship modeled before me by my parents. So, like, I know, generally speaking, how relationships work. And people love my advice, and it tends to go well for them. you know, ultimately at the end of the day, the best advice I can give any of you, if you're interested in anybody, is you need to have a conversation with them about that. And maybe you need to wait for a little bit, you know? Maybe if you've only liked them for a week, you should consider waiting for a month to see, do you still like them after that? Because here's the thing, I'll tell you all this. The only love that will ever get me to ever say anything to anyone is one that I can't get rid of. You know, and maybe none of you are religious, and this is completely and totally okay. But there's a book in the Bible that, you know, I'm a Christian, so I've, of course, subscribed to most of that. But that all said, there's a book in the Bible that I've read a couple of times through, Song of Solomon. Has a lot of weird stuff in it if you don't understand the context. But there's one line in there in specific that applies to anybody. And it is about love. And it is basically saying, my love is like a fire that cannot be quenched by all of the oceans of the world. And that's the kind of love you want. You know, all of everything cannot drown out or put out this fire that is within your soul. It's deep within your body. And that's what I want. And that's what I want for all of you. That all said, you know, there's also the phrase in there, do not awaken love unless their desires. AKA, don't go around trying to like people because you want in a relationship. Don't fall for people because you're lonely. Because you're not going to awaken a love that is unquenchable. Because, you know, for the vast majority of people, you know, you're gonna run into a lot of people that you think you like. And for me, you know, I've ran into a number of people that I thought I liked. And I genuinely thought, hey, maybe this is the one. But I've always told myself, I'm going to wait a month. And a lot of people would probably say you're shooting yourself in the foot for that, but I don't know about that. I don't know about that, because after that month, if I still don't like them, then I don't think they're somebody that I truly love without condition. And unconditional love is the love that cannot be quenched by 1,000 rivers or what have you, you know? So when we talk about love, you know, if you feel like this is somebody that you are wanting a long-term relationship with, I encourage you to wait. Just wait and see, okay? Try to not love them. And then be honest with yourself at the end of that. Do I not love them? Because, man, I'll tell you what. You find somebody that you love genuinely, fully, wholeheartedly, cannot help but love. And you want to not. You know, the Elvis Presley song, I Can't Help Falling in Love. Great example there. Wise men say only fools rush in, but I can't help falling in love with you, you know? If you can't help it, and it's not a choice, but simply a choice made for you, your heart makes the choice to love them, regardless of what you feel and how you want to feel about them, then, you know, there's a serious consideration there that you genuinely like this person. And that's a beautiful thing. You know, it's a slippery slope, love is. But I think it's a good lesson to learn, in all honesty. And maybe I'm wrong, and I'm open to being wrong. You guys can tell me I'm wrong. But so far it hasn't hurt me, so I can't be too mad. Let's see. TV is not the answer. Okay, no, TV actually, though, has a lot of great stuff on it. Like, I'm not talking like children's TV shows, although some of that is helpful. You like watch, for example, one show in my mind that sticks out a little bit is or all the shows really that stick out in my mind are a lot of the Disney Channel shows from, you know, the 2010s. So like think Hannah Montana, Jessie, Good Luck Charlie. A lot of those characters, a lot of the main characters date this guy, or they're attracted to this guy who doesn't even care that they exist. Or they do care that he exists and it turns out he's a bad guy and eventually they break up or something. Or sometimes he's a good guy and they break up and they don't know why. And that's a really good showing of the real world. You know, sometimes we do stupid things. Downright stupid things. The reason these shows were so well received is not because they were great, but they were actually well written to some degree. They were realistic, you know. I can't tell you why some people break up. I can't tell you why some people fall out of love. I don't know why sometimes we tell people we don't love them when we actually do. And in those shows, they don't shy away from that. They say, I don't know why I said that. I don't know why I told you I didn't love you, and I'm sorry, and I don't deserve to be forgiven for that. I don't, you know, blah, 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 blah. You know, they all say those things, and that's real. That's real. It's, like you said, Nathan, it's relatable. It's something that happens in day-to-day life. You know, we say things we don't really mean or that we mean in the moment, and then we realize later down the road, I actually didn't mean that, you know? Maybe this is copium talking, but, you know, a lot of the times there's people out there who will say, you know, you tell them you love them, and they tell you, I don't feel the same way. And that's okay, but maybe that'll change one day. And that has happened. That has happened to a lot of people. That has happened to a lot of people. They've said it one way, and then it ends up going the other. And that may happen to any of you. It may not. I hope it doesn't. I hope that, you know, you have the easiest relationship known to man, but relationships are not without their fault. So I don't expect it. Opium. I said copium, like coping. I'm like right on that line with the Gen Zers, so I use some of their lingo, but copium, yeah, kind of like opium. Okay, anyway, I want to finish reading chat. Religion is dumb. It is how they control us. Faith is the truth. You have faith in him the size of a mustard seed. Have faith in God. Religion in the sense of blindly doing everything purely for the sake of following arbitrary laws. Yes, that is dumb, because that is deeds without faith. Deeds without faith is useless, but so is faith without deeds. The thing about religion in the case of Christianity is you don't do the things so that you can love God or so that you can be a Christian. You love God and you love Jesus, and you as a product, you do those things. So you don't just love your neighbor as yourself because you choose to. You do it because you want to love God and you want to obey his commands. You know, all 66 books within the Bible all are a culmination of all the things that have been passed down to us. And so to say that those are all not quote unquote requirements, but to some degree they are requirements, you know. I do believe every Christian should read through the entire Bible at some point in time. And you know, it's a big read. It's a big read. I'll admit it. I'm still trying to read through all of it to some extent. Been ages since I've done it, so I'm redoing it. And you know, that's where I've learned a lot of this stuff is kind of like, okay, you know, sometimes we're promised things now and we don't receive it till later. And that's, you know, that's a whole religious discussion, but you know, that's a common theme throughout Genesis and Exodus. And you know, a lot of people want their promise right now, but your promised land doesn't come until much, much later, and that's okay. And you know, I believe wholeheartedly if you earnestly seek, you will find. And so that's so I would say religion in the sense of following law without reason is dumb, but we have religion in faith as well, which is okay. Let's see. Lonely, I'm Mr. Lonely, a great song by Akon. Oh, yes, I've heard that one. That one's a good one. I actually want to play the original Mr. Lonely at some point by, was that one Bobby Vince? Hang on. Is that his name? Bobby Vince? Vinton. Bobby Vinton. Mr. Lonely. I want to play that one at some point on the guitar for you guys. It's a beautiful song though. But that's where the chorus hook thing comes from Akon, but I love his version too. It is a good song. I've done that to my boyfriend. Said I don't love you even though you do. It happens. It happens, and that's okay. Let's see. How long do you stream per day? It changes. I stream, like right now it's been 4 hours. Sometimes I only stream 2. Sometimes I stream longer than that even. I stream like 6 hours, 7 hours, you know? It just depends, in all honesty. It used to be 6 hours every stream, though. How many jumps have you done on the stat screen? That is a good question. Jumps. 6,713. Ay. That is actually insane. This is gonna be so quick, so productive. I've done so much work, guys. I've done so much work. It's crazy. I'm never gonna get this done, am I? No, it's gonna take years at this rate, yeah. I don't know. I should probably wrap up stream, shouldn't I? I just got here. Oh no, Jinx. Hi, how's it going, dude? I oh, I really should do another island, but I don't know. I'm tired and I'm useless. I have all these ideas in my head, but I don't do any of them. I do not do what I want to do. This I keep on doing. Anyway, ba-ba-bum. Good, how are you? I'm doing all right. I'm pretty tired, but I'm chilling. I'm chilling. I'm glad to hear that you're doing well, though. Biking. See ya, doers. Thanks for hanging out. Appreciate ya. Let's see. All good, man. Just saw you was on. Thought I would drop in. I appreciate it. Appreciate you a lot. Yeah, we've been building updates. Let's kind of recap a little bit. It's been like a week. We'll come back on Friday and we'll do some, and then I can also do some on Saturday if we do the 12-hour stream on Saturday. So that'll kind of work out a little bit. So we got pre-classic, classic, in dev, inf dev over here, and then over here is alpha. Alpha's almost done. I may add like a swamp and I don't know, something else on the other side there just to balance it out. But alpha's got like a decent amount going for it. And then after alpha, we'll do beta 1.1, I guess, or 1.0 maybe. I don't know. We'll see. We will see. Okay. Anyway, yeah, I'm gonna wrap up now. Alright, I appreciate y'all being here, though. I do. Thanks, Streamreg. Thanks for hanging out. I appreciate you all. Rating him a lot lately. I don't know. Who do I have available to me on YouTube? That is gonna be the question. Let's say hi to Gus. I know we usually say hello to him, but I like Gus. Gus is cool. He's one of my friends. See you around, good sirs. See ya later. Thanks for hanging out. Appreciate you, Jinx. PC Gus. Alright, we're gonna go say hello to PC Gus on both Twitch and YouTube. You guys can hop in the raid, get some free champ points on Twitch, or just meet a cool streamer on either platform. I appreciate each and every one of you for being here. It's been a lot of fun. I appreciate you all, and I will see you guys again tomorrow when we're back on Twitch SMP. See ya, Coral. See ya, Coral. Thank you all for hanging out. Appreciate y'all. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.